Hello, everyone. Welcome to part two of The Right Job, a special birthday game for our illustrious Drutt Cup. Those of you who were here last week will have seen the first part of this adventure. We are using the Dusk City Outlaws setting by Rodney Thompson, using the A100 system from Scratchpad Games. If you weren't, I went through most of the rules in last week's session. I will try and cover the basics here as we go through them. But aside from that, we are going to try and get straight in on the action. But first, let's have our players introduce themselves. Starting with Drutt Cup, let's go around in clockwise order. Drutt, who are you playing?
I'm playing Carolina Lacroix, who is a member of the Vespers and skilled in using her contacts in the nobility, certain amount of charm. There are those who might say seduction, in order to relieve people of their worldly goods.
Thank you very much. Moving on. Alex, who are you playing?
I'm playing William Stryker, a warden of the night with quite a bad mouth and a even worse attitude. Yeah, I guess that's it about Will. He's quite a potty mouth with a mission.
Cool. Night Lights.
Yes, I am playing Michelangelo Bianchi, or Many-Faced Mike. He's I won't say master of disguise, but it's entirely possible that other people in the group may have already spoken to him and not realised.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, 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 dun,
And
dun, dun.
Fishy.
Buenas noches, mi amigos. I must apologize for my companions here. They are not really the sort of people I normally hang around with, but needs must and all of that. My name is Franco Falcone. You may call me Frankie, Frankie the Fox, or Frankie El Zorro if you want. I am obviously a legitimate and honest businessman, and in the course of my business, I come across a lot of people, and I know everybody. That is why I am here, so I can do introductions and find the people who and the things who we might need.
Indeed. So, this is our crew who have been assembled for a particular job. Now, we are adventuring in the city of New Dunhaven, a city that is very much one of two halves. You have the Crown, you have the Watch, you have the Church of the Silver Judge, all very legitimate, hard-working folk. And then you have the folks who are consider themselves really in charge. The ones who are here to make an honest or a dishonest living, however you choose to put it. The
Right,
crew,
sort of people.
yeah, the right sort of people. What would be classed in other in other cities as the criminal underworld. So the setting basically has the underworld criminal activities in New Dunhaven are split between notionally 8 cartels, 8 groups who have decided that they are going to stop fighting amongst themselves and split the city's fortunes more or less equally, with a little bit of squabbling. It doesn't go amiss if there's a coin extra here or a barrel of gunpowder extra there. Just it all evens up
Really?
in the end.
Really? Who keeps track of trifles?
Indeed. And in New Dunhaven, this is
Well, you
administered.
imagine people who make trifles.
And in New Dunhaven, this is administered by the agreement. And one of the parts of the agreement is that when there are big jobs, when there are significant jobs, a broker will arrange for a crew to come together from different cartels to effect this job. And if the job goes well, then grand rewards can be had for the successful and enterprising. Our group has been.
Anyway, I'm in a river wearing concrete tubes.
I
Our
feel
group-
Legitimate is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this game.
Legitimate does an awful lot of work in this game, I will admit. So, this crew has been assembled by a member of the Gravediggers cartel called Olivia Gravine. She brought you all together and asked you to do a job on behalf of her superiors, who had discovered that the Church of the Silver Judge have acquired a book, a mysterious book that they do not know the title of, but they believe it is to be written. It has been written in Teonan, and that they want this book for themselves.
Necronomicon Exodus.
The Church of the Silver Flame appear to be holding it at a very nondescript little school in the backwaters of the city on the far western edge in a district called Lustric County. And they have also, according to your broker, brought in a specialist to look at the book. And the Gravediggers want both the book and the specialist delivered to their care, or delivered to a safe house that you have been told of, where they will take it from there. So we have had, they gave you a time limit. The time limit was 2.5 days for this to take place. And in Dusk City Outlaws, or under the A100 system, your time is divided into segments. Each day has 2 segments, a day and a night. And last session, we played through the first 2 segments, day 1 day and day 1 night.
And the pre-planning session that comes before day 1.
Indeed,
Yeah.
and the free pre-planning session that comes with that. So our aim this evening is to get through the next 3 segments and see how the job goes down. So scenes are generally split in 2. You can either have a planning scene or a legwork scene. We had 2 planning scenes and a legwork scene last time. I believe we are going into segment 3 with a legwork scene. But given the time that has passed, I'm going to give you a few moments to reacquaint yourselves with the discussions and just have a quick chat to see what it is that you want to do. I will give you a very short time for this, say about 5 minutes. And then I will want to know what you are going to do in the next legwork scene.
Oh, thank God I took notes last week.
Your time starts now.
Right.
As I recall, we were discussing what to do in the next segment primarily in that last legwork scene, last planning scene, weren't we? Because that's when the guy arrives in town, the librarian that we're looking for. So what have you got in your notes?
Okay. I've got someone's phone is going off quite close to.
About to mute it.
Oh, we can be sure it wasn't mine.
I'm sorry.
Alas.
Okay.
We're on the clock. Hurry up.
Right. We know what hotel the guy is going to be staying at.
Yeah.
We were talking about intercepting him en route to the hotel.
As I understand it, we were looking at splitting our forces, grabbing him on his way to the hotel, while you break in and attempt to steal the book.
Yeah, we can either have Michelangelo dress up, disguise himself as the librarian, which involves snagging him to give him an idea of what the guy looks like, or we can go straight to Carolina and Michael on the theft, because I'm going to need his help in escaping, because he knows the underways of the city.
I think the way we'd come out was that we were going to keep both plans in reserve, essentially, because we still have one more set. We still have one morning, the morning when he's presumably supposed to be going to look at the book, to carry out that plan if the break-in doesn't work.
Yeah.
So if we snag him and try to break in tonight, day 2 night.
Yeah.
And then if the break-in doesn't work, we've got day 3 morning, our final segment, to be able to try it the other way.
So that's Frankie and Will are on the kidnapping duty.
Okay. So what we don't have is currently any plan for day 2 morning.
No.
What do we
Day
need
to
to
day.
Yeah, day 2 day rather. What do we need to get done so that day 2 night can occur?
Carolina and Michael can look at the entrances to the underground.
Yeah, I can effectively give Carolina the guided tour.
Yeah.
Now I know where the entrance is next, so I can give her the guided tour. I can work out where any diversions I need to set up can be placed. Because I believe our fixer friend was going to be getting us some fireworks.
Well, we came up with so many possibilities, and I don't think we actually decided on any of this shit.
Some fireworks.
Because there were a number of things that I could do. Yeah, I could. I can arrange for a group of 10 family members to cause a distraction.
Yeah, I believe that was actually what we came down to last time.
Yeah. That was what we decided would be the best approach, indeed.
And I can also get hold of a wagon load of stuff, essentially, is what it comes down to. Both of those require influence. I have 1 influence. There's obviously a couple of influence. I think 2 now.
Yeah, there is 2 in your communal pool, and everyone still has 1 because no one has spent any yet.
Yeah.
So if we want both the 10 guys for the distraction, and also we want the wagon full of stuff, we can do that.
Yeah.
But we have to decide that that's what we're doing and what's going to be on the wagon.
10 guys, yes.
Okay, so when are we wanting them? Are we wanting them for the night when it's all going off?
We're wanting them for the kidnapping, aren't we?
There was talk of distraction on both the kidnapping and also the break-in, and I can only provide for 1.
It was the kidnapping because I can provide some coverage for the break-in.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. And ideally, the break-in hopefully will be silent.
Yeah, the break-in needs to be silent. So.
So yes, if you can provide a bunch of guys to be drunken around a tourist, to give us sufficient time for you guys to smack him over the back of the head and I don't know, stick him in a sack or something. I'll leave the details to you.
I will get some guys around so they can make a lot of noise. Make sure that any guards who may be in the area, which you hope will not be there, but if they are, they will be watching these people instead of what's going on with us, and keep people away from what we are doing.
Yep. If they have to encourage the guards to chase them, then
Okay, that is your 5 minutes.
Okay.
So, we are going into segment 3. I assume you want another
plan for it.
This is going to be a legwork scene. You can opt to have this as a planning scene if you so wish, and get another 20 minutes on the clock.
We could continue planning at this point, but then if we do continue planning at this point, we can't actually act on that plan.
Sure.
It's literally just keep talking about the thing we've already decided.
In which case, I'm going to ask...
a legwork scene. We're unfortunately winging it because we made no plan for this scene.
Yeah.
So we are entering a legwork scene. How these work is that I'm going to ask each player in turn what it is that they are going to be doing during the daytime. And then we will see how that scene goes with or without any obstacles, depending on what they are choosing.
That could be worse. He could be mean. He could at this point say, well, you don't have a plan, so I'd like each of you to write down what you're going to do in this legwork scene. Whereas as it is, doing it this nice, generous way, we can potentially, out of character, react to what we know somebody else did.
That is a possibility.
Are you familiar with the term...
Bending the rules, but...
Are you familiar with the phrase, never give the GM an idea?
Oh, he's a smart lad. He'd have figured that one out.
So we are going into this now. Dusk City Outlaws has a mechanic called Heat, which is what the GM has, or in this case, what the judge has, since that's what a GM in this game is called, to influence events in the adventure, I do not have dice. I do not roll dice. All dice are only rolled by the players. So, at the start of every segment, heat goes into the pool. We ended last session with 8 heat in the pool. I am adding 4. Heat count stands at 12. I can never have more than 30 heat in the pool at any one time. The judge is encouraged to spend before you get to that point. So, who wants to go first?
New Dunhaven, he's got nice heated pools.
All the easier for the concrete to set.
That's why they're heated.
So, ancient Roman influence.
Who wants to go first? Who has an idea of what they want to do first?
I think Carolina has an idea of what she'd like to do first, because the very first thing she needs to do is make a disguise check, because otherwise she will stand out like a proverbial sore thumb.
Okay, so whilst disguising yourself, because the various cartels attract different amounts of attention in different parts of the city. This is most of this adventure, or at least this part of the adventure, your target building is in a commoners district on the far west of the city. Carolina is a member of the Vespers cartel, which deals a lot with the nobility. So she would stand out fairly well in a commoners district. Now, in order to avoid that, Carolina can spend one legwork scene creating a disguise to try and avoid drawing heat when they move around. They attract no heat for the scene itself, but it means that if you were to go adventuring in subsequent scenes, you will not draw attention for the specific district you are disguising yourself. So, is that what you intend to do during this one?
Yes, essentially I'm going to disguise myself as one of Michelangelo's lot.
Sure. So you are disguising yourself as one of the Forgotten, one of the street gangs that roam the streets of New Dunhaven. Yes. Excellent. Now, for this, could you roll me a...
Create a disguise?
Yes, let me just check your speciality, because you are a thief. You have a create a disguise skill, so could you roll me a 65% chance skill, please?
I can indeedy, she says optimistically. Right, it was you guys who were rolling well for me last week, so... 38. We'll take
38, okay. Cool. So what are you disguising yourself? How are you disguising yourself? Give me a description of what you now look like, or what you intend to look like when you go out and about that night.
Right. I am intending to look like someone who has spent an entire day working hard, grafting somewhere probably quite smelly. Strategic smudges of dirt just highlighting the cheekbones, that sort of thing, eyeliner to make the eyes look a little bit sunken, and I've seen Michael and wearing a neckerchief and stuff, so obviously that's a thing, but obviously it can't be too clean. So grimy and sweaty.
Someone on their way back from a day's hard work.
Yeah, back from, not going to, but someone on their way back from a day's graft.
Sure. Okay.
Did I say graft? Oh, I'm terribly sorry to the person who does disguises.
That is fine. You also spend the day, because, actually, can you roll me an advantage dice? Because you did spend the previous day in the district you are attempting to disguise yourself at. Okay. So you would have an idea of what folk in that district do look like and how they talk. Yes, so it's a D8. If you get an odd number, you will get a boon.
I got a 6, unfortunately.
Okay, so even number means no boon for Carolina. Cool.
No boon today.
I was literally about to say that.
I think a lot of us were thinking that. So, who's next? Who wants to take the next lead on a legwork scene?
I will take the next lead on the legwork scene because I've just remembered that one of the things I wanted to do does not require influence, but instead replaces my taking the lead on a legwork scene.
Aha. So, are you spending any influence from what you had discussed previously?
I was assuming that I would be spending that when we get to the scene where I want it to take place. I will be spending a point of influence to get the 10 guys to help
Sure.
with the distraction
Okay.
in the next scene.
Okay.
This scene, however, is going to be, instead of taking the lead on a legwork scene, I can access one of the caches I have stashed around the city to obtain material goods, legal or contraband, available to my crew for the rest of the job.
Sure.
Which, unfortunately, I now have to do entirely guesswork as to what people might need because we didn't plan for this.
Sorry.
However, yes. So,
Caches
first
of
thing,
stashes.
everything's got to fit inside a single wagon.
Yep.
The first thing is I want the wagon.
Sure.
Good.
That is
Right.
not a problem. The family has access to plenty of wagons or gondolas or
To
whatever.
go with the wagon, I want 2 or 3 mid to large size crates. Let's call it
All of
3.
course, cloak.
2 of them can have things in, and it really doesn't matter what, just anything to give them some weight.
2 misc goods. Yep.
Yeah, and 1 of them will be empty and not currently nailed shut. So I want the nails and the hammer to go with it.
Yep.
Anyone would think I was planning a kidnapping or something.
Have you considered air holes?
They're not that solid crates.
You're not thinking of like giant beer casks or anything that would be airtight.
Oh, no, actually, that could be interesting, but we're not escaping down the river, so nor are we kidnapping a hobbit. But I would also like, is there anything along the lines of any form of suitable knockout chemical available in this particular?
You knockout. When you say knockout chemicals, what sort of thing are you looking at? Because
I'm thinking the good old-fashioned, rag soaked in ether routine.
Right.
To be honest, but if it's not available, then it's not available.
So ether or chloroform will be available. Let me see if.
Yeah, it has to be something that my cartel can get hold of.
Let me reread your cartel sheet and see if that's something you would have access.
It's a cliche for a reason, Robinson. Don't bet the classics.
I have to start lending you some Baron books, which has a gentleman thief who uses an ether gun.
An ether gun.
Yeah, little gas canister instead of cartridge, and literally just kunk.
Can I have one of them? But can I have it as one of those fake flowers instead?
I am going to say.
The Joker.
I am going to say it is not something that you would have ready access to.
Okay.
However, there is the opportunity for you to spend influence to obtain the single use of the services of a law-abiding commoner's profession free of charge.
Yes.
You could obtain the services of an apothecary who would
make some.
Be able to get you ether.
The other possibility, actually, which again is influence, is I can acquire goods that fell off the back of a wagon.
Yes.
So that one again would potentially get it for me. But either way, that's not going to be a part of what I'm doing here. So we will skip over that for the moment.
So you've asked for 2 crates of missed goods.
I've got my wagon. I've got my two cover crates, essentially. Yep. 1 crate to shove a guy into. Miscellaneous sundry useful pieces of kidnapping equipment like a gag, a hood,
sure,
manacles, maybe rope, all that kind of good stuff.
I'm assuming that you are going with a covered wagon.
Not necessarily, but I think, yeah, I'd probably better.
Okay. Covered wagon.
I can't be sure that he's going to be unconscious. If I could be sure he was unconscious, I wouldn't have a covered wagon because an open wagon looks less suspicious.
I mean, up to you.
Yeah, people wonder about covered wagons, about what's in there. If they clearly see, look, that is just some ordinary crates. It's just a man making a delivery.
So, I say, up to you if you want it to be covered or not. You have access to either.
Yeah, I will go with the covered wagon
Sure.
in this instance to be on the safe side. Just in case he's actually trying to get out of his crate. People might see it.
Okay, anything else that you want in this wagon of goods?
Else that I want.
Wagon of dreams.
Well, in case they do still want to use it, I'm going to include some fireworks because there was some talk of using fireworks. So just in case, I will have maybe a fourth crate of fireworks.
Sure. That is fine. Anything else, sir?
Do I need? Does anyone else need anything else? Oh, just in case I can't get hold of any ether, possibly a couple of blackjacks.
Sure.
You're not going to go with life preservers? Easier to
No, I
conceal.
want him alive.
Good point. I thought we know what they are.
And also, I don't know that I necessarily need it as part of this. It's the sort of thing that we might well have anyway. But also, I think 2 nondescript commoner hooded cloaks. But I'm still thinking in terms of my activities here. I really haven't managed to think of anything that the others might need, unfortunately. So apologies for that, guys. If there's anything that you wanted me to get you and I've missed it, I am very sorry.
Is this just Fish literally going to a stash and loading up a carriage with stuff, or are there people he's interacting with?
Eventually, this is me probably moving around a couple of
you're probably
from caches that I have around the city. So I'm probably collecting the wagon and then going to 2 or 3 caches to get the different bits and pieces.
Given the area, you are probably hitting up a family-controlled warehouse or warehouses that carries that stores these sorts of goods for jobs that the family are doing. So it will involve basically probably talking to another family fixer to ensure that you get hold of the goods that you want. A little bit of to and froing on the discussion.
I mean, would there be any sort of warehouse hands just sort of loading the stuff up so the fixers don't get their hands dirty?
Almost certainly, there are lower level members of the cartel who are doing this.
Makes sense.
Chrono?
Yes.
You're going to invade my legwork scene, aren't you?
There's this thing that moles can do.
Yep. There is indeed.
During a legwork or drama scene that I'm not already a part of.
Yeah.
I could choose one judge-controlled character and reveal the character to be, in fact, me all along.
Sure. Indeed, you can.
Real moles were the friends we made along the way.
So, Fishy, describe the person that you are talking to in order to acquire this this cart of goods.
Describe the person that I'm talking to. Probably a low-level middleman type of fixer, not someone who works out and about in the city like I do,
Mm-hmm.
more someone who is responsible for things that the family has already obtained and making sure that everything is where it should be, doesn't go to the wrong people. So while still a member of the family and therefore obviously a legitimate businessman and slightly dapper, because they always are, he's a little bit more practically dressed than Frankie would be, possibly with the sleeves rolled up, maybe some sort of a sun visor so that while he's working. And obviously because he's a member of the family, and we've established that in this part of town, at least, the family all have this particular pseudo-Spanish accent. He clearly talks like that.
You son of a glitch.
Well, obviously, it can be from all sorts. Why don't you give him a name?
Yes, I was just thinking he's probably going to need a name, isn't he?
I can't think of Spanish.
Well, my imagination is not very good at the moment, so we will just call him Juan.
Juan Garcia.
Oh no. No, actually, I'm going to jump in on here. It's I think Garcia is a very good surname for this fixer. You are dealing with Juan Alfredo Garcia.
You're all gits, and I hate you all.
Oh no, this is not your character.
Okay.
Juan Alfredo Garcia is you have dealt with him before. He is a very jovial, a very down to earth gentleman. But as you say, middleman. He manages this warehouse. Frankie, what is it that you want? Oh God, I've gone Russian there.
It's Vladimir in disguise.
I don't speak Spanish, so I'm going to avoid the accent for the sake of the viewers. What is it that you want with all of this?
Well, we got an operation on at the moment for the grave diggers, and you know how it is. You've got to do what you've got to do. There is this hombre who we need to transport from one place to another, and he may not be particularly willing. And we don't want people to see him in transit. So I think this will do the job. That's not what the fireworks are for. They're for something else.
A little celebration for afterwards, perhaps. Oh,
maybe.
I see. Jose, come on. And he gestures a few folks forward to start loading up the wagon for you. Is the cream color for the tarpaulin fine, or do you want something darker?
See, that is fine.
See, okay.
Something inconspicuous we are looking for. We don't want to attract attention.
Which district are you going for?
Oh God, which district am I going for?
I don't think I gave you a name for it, but it's basically one of the northern merchant districts.
Frankie knows where the boat is coming in, so he'll list that district.
Sure. Yes, we'll get this one changed. The merchants there tend to favor a more dun-colored one. So yes, let's get that changed. You've got a few people, and So, Knight, whenever you wish to reveal yourself as one of the warehouse hands, you can.
So while loading up the wagon with whatever I'm tasked to load up, when Frankie is within earshot but far enough away from everyone else that he's not going to hear, did you think about what Carolina might want? Maybe some caltrop or something? Carry on loading the stuff up completely.
Okay, well, Frankie will attempt to resist choking on the glass of wine that he's no doubt sipping on while observing all of this. Where the hell did you come from?
I've always been here.
Okay, we are going to have words about this. I thought about Carolina, but she did not tell me what she wanted. Do you know what she wants?
She may want something to help her escape if someone's close behind. Just something she can drop behind that's going to trip people up, stub their toes. Yeah, caltrop, something nice and sharp to go in their shoes, through their shoes.
Caltrops. Yeah, I think I can get some. I'm sure. Hey, Juan. Just thought of something that might be useful there. You got any caltrops lying around?
Caltrops. Oh, probably. He starts digging through a couple of sacks. Yes, 2 bags here.
That's perfecto. Gracias.
You're just showing off now, Fish.
Yeah, I know like half a dozen words of Spanish. Okay, if I don't keep dropping them in, then I lose the accent. It's very simple.
Apparently, I've learned 720. I consider this a lot.
So, is there anything else that you wish to get from this warehouse?
You know what? I'm gonna go with a third hooded cloak in a completely different style and color.
Sure.
Something suited to what was the district that has the House of the Silver Hand in it?
The Lutric County, yeah.
That's the one. Something suited to there. Again, thinking in terms of something that Carolina could stash somewhere, maybe, in case she wants to do a quick change on the way out.
Sure, not a problem.
Get spotted being able to change her appearance would be.
That is perfectly fine. You're in so you avoided taking the lead in a legwork scene, so you're not really anywhere in particular. So if you've got all that you need, I think we will draw that scene to a close.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Cool. Alex or Knight, who wants to go next?
Alex, do you want to go next? I'm happy to go if not.
Well, you could go ahead.
Okay, I'll take the next one.
Sure. Okay. Michelangelo, what do you want to get? What do you want to achieve in your scene?
So knowing that
giving Frankie a heart attack.
Well, I think that's been successful.
That wasn't my scene. That's been done and dusted. That was cool. What I'm now looking to do is, given that I'm fairly aware that I'm going to be using a point of influence during the theft scene, I want to lay down some groundwork to try and generate some advantages in that scenario.
Okay.
So I want to go back to the region that the church is in and identify the gangs that are there, so that when I cash in my point of influence for effectively inciting a gang brawl, I'm pulling the right gangs into it on the right terms to get maximum impact from the gangs.
Sure. Are you looking to try and find gangs who are like opposed to each other?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So let us see what you can do. So you are Mole. Let me get your character sheet up. Okay. So where are you conspicuous? You are forgotten. You are fine. You're conspicuous in Merchant and Noble District, which is fine. You are not in one of those. You are going back to Listric County.
That's a Commoners District, did you say?
It is a Commoners District. As I say, basically it's on the border of a Commoners and Slums District. Neither of which you are conspicuous in. So you're fine on that front. So you kind of like wander around. There are various members of street gangs that kind of like loiter on edges. If you're wandering through Grey Waters, there is very, very much no City Watch presence.
Excellent.
None on the ground comes here. You're also seeing very little in the way of crown guards, at least deep into Listric County. Around, although there are a few around that seem to patrol, but almost between like the district edge and the church, or at least what was the church, the school. But it's depending on how long you are there, it's probably one squad of 3 or 4 soldiers who don't appear to be paying the greatest deal of attention.
Excellent.
And you think that it's probably 1 or 2 squads for this area of the district over the course of the day. I mean, that would be your impression from similar districts in other parts of the city. So you wander around, and you do see different gangs, because the Forgotten are not so much a cohesive whole as a bunch of gangs who vaguely fly under the same color for the protection of a cartel. Are you looking to try and get people from your own gang, or are you trying to get two different gangs?
The ability is quite specific. It says, where is it? Start trouble with a rival street gang.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a gang that's rival to my own.
Okay.
And whichever of the gangs in the immediate vicinity of the church is most rival to my own.
Sure.
That's what I'm looking for, and the best things I can do to trigger some action.
Okay. Let's see what. Okay. So you're wandering around, and as I said, there's probably about 2 or 3 gangs who have members in the area, or at least within a block or 2 of the church. You see one. You see one in colours belonging to not a major rival, but you know they have had friction with your gang on a number of occasions. Probably not that recently, but you do come across one of their low-level bosses. He and his he is a kind of like wiry kind of figure, but with tight muscled. Looks like he can very much hold himself in a fight. He has ratty brown hair. Looks very weaselly, but a muscled weasel is probably the best way that I have of describing him. And he's got like a small group of men and women. Probably you can see 3, but you suspect that there are probably more in the vicinity. And he's literally just sitting on top of a pile of rubble, paring away at an apple with a dagger.
Excellent.
As you approach. Now, I'm going to spend some heat. There is 12 in the pool.
Had to come to one of us.
You and your heat.
I am going to spend 4 to introduce a complication. It's a minor complication. This guy is very wary. So you are going to have 2 extra challenge dice to all social interactions with this guy. He casts a lazy eye over you as you approach.
Uh-oh.
What you doing here?
So I haven't approached at this point. I've seen him. I've identified.
Okay,
I don't.
Sure.
If he's cast a lazy eye in my direction,
He has cast a lazy eye in your direction. Yes, sir.
in which case, I'm going to smile and sneak around. I'm going to disappear into an alleyway.
Sure. Can you give
what I want
me?
to do as a, I'm going to turn this into a game of cat and mouse. I've effectively stood out in the open, said hi, and then I've got into an alleyway.
Sure.
And what I want to do now is spend maybe 5 minutes ducking in out of alleyways between him and his fellas,
Mm-hmm.
and then just completely vanish through the Undercity.
Okay.
So that when we come back later, he's still on edge and still looking for me. So I could just pop up and say, hi, and then start the fight.
You are probably going to have to interact with him more than that if you are if you actively want to push him. I'm afraid.
In which case, I shall extend the cat and mouse. What I want to do is really put him on edge that someone's watching him, someone's looking for something. Not interact with him on a conversational level,
Sure.
but make him start looking for me. Make him look over his shoulder. Make him get tetchy. Make him get nervous. Where's that sound? Where'd that guy
Okay.
go? What's going on next?
Can you give me a sneak around roll?
Yep.
I am going to add the 2 challenge dice to this because you're effectively trying to turn this into a social game.
Okay.
But you can also roll. You can roll an advantage die on that as well.
The advantage die is a
D8. So D10s are the challenge dice. D8 are advantage dice.
Right. So I've got 33 on the percentage with a 3 on the D8.
Cool. And evens on the D10s?
D10s are 1 even, 1 odd.
Okay. So because of the way the system works, the boon and the drawback will cancel each other out.
Okay.
So you end up as a neutral roll. Okay. And these are the people that you're effectively going to be spending influence on to pull into the scene at later. Okay. Yeah, you think you're successful. You think you've got them wound up on edge enough that you are going to get what you want out of them. Obviously, like spending influence in this game is effectively a certainty, but it's a case of we just want to try and make sure that how these things play out and how much of a certainty is something that might be in doubt. Plus, as I say, it gets me to spend heat for these kinds of complications as well.
Yeah.
So you spend probably a bit more time than you were expecting to in order to ensure that you keep getting the attention of either him or one of his underlings. And almost try and make him think that there are more of you around. And you think you've got a fairly good grip that he is going to be here and keeping a very watchful eye out
Excellent.
for that
That's what I've
eventuality.
gone for. Yep.
Cool. We'll draw that scene to a close there.
Thank
Alex, a scene for you to lead. What would you like to do? What are you trying to achieve?
So I was thinking about having some people around the school just in case stuff happens and they need to intervene to rescue our booties out of trouble.
So more safeguard.
Well, yes, because as rioting starts with Michelangelo going in on the rival gang, I think it will be safe to say that things can go extremely south extremely quick.
Mm-hmm.
So a getaway plan is always welcome, I guess.
Okay. So how are you going to go about it? What do you want to do in order to secure that?
Well, I am going to approach a person who's owning a lot of property in that area
Mm-hmm.
and ask to see where I could rent properties for a short period of time and place my men there in like the vicinity of the church school that we are planning on breaking into.
Okay, so where are these men of yours coming from?
Well, they are coming from the slums. There are a lot of low-life people that need money and are not afraid to do the dirty work for them.
Sure. So is it that are you asking for a scene where you A, go and get the men to work for you, and B, that you are looking to rent the properties, or
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So, or is it that you're going to be spending influence at a later date in order to get the people without the need for it to be part of this scene?
Well,
Because
what I want to achieve right now out of this legwork scene
Mhm.
is getting to actually rent the properties out,
okay,
because I can't remember exactly, and I don't have the class sheet,
okay, sure.
the clan sheet
Mhm.
for the wardens. But
Yeah.
I think I could use influence to gather the people. So I would rather use it later on when the final scene draws near.
Okay. So yeah, so one of the wardens of the night, you have an ability where you can spend influence to have several members of your cartel posted on rooftops in order to relay a signal, in order to relay signals or messages between your team, between members of your crew.
Oh, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Uh, cool. Okay, so you're only trying to do one thing in this scene then, which is obtain properties, the use of
Well,
properties.
I have to obtain the rooftops to place my man on.
Yes.
So
Okay.
this
So
will be the goal for this
that will
action.
be okay. Sure. So you, because you're a member of the Wardens of the Night, you are conspicuous in any district during the day. So that will add to the
The
to
heat
the heat
pool.
pool.
Yeah.
Um, you make a few strategic inquiries. Let me just get your sheet up. Um, what sort of person are you looking for? Because there's probably a few people who own buildings in the area, ranging from various levels of respectability. Is there anything in particular, any kind of person in particular you are looking for?
Well, yes, I would rather be looking for a person that is on the respectable side, as I don't want to draw attention. Like the man should be stationed there without like people being curious who's there, why, and what for. So I'm looking for someone that has a good record with the properties there, more
Mhm.
or less.
Okay.
But also that person that I am looking for is a person that has uh, history, let's say, with gambling. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
So it's easier to push them into accepting my terms for the deal, not their own terms, because
Okay.
they are having I can't remember the word, but they can be forced into it with
Coerced?
Coerced, I think, is the word
yeah,
you're looking
yes, that's the word. Yep.
for. Okay. Uh, okay. I'm going to ask for a roll here. For you to size someone up to try and find the kind of person that you are looking for
What
first.
kind of role?
So
Because I
if
want to do it myself now
okay,
to test my luck.
so this is an 80% roll. So you'll want to roll percentile dice, or 2d10, and try and get under 80,
2d10 or like
or percentile.
I'm having a d100 like
Okay, yeah,
in front of me.
D100 is fine. Yeah.
So I have to aim for under 80 on the d100.
Yes.
Okay. And it's a fail. I got an 86 on
Okay.
the percentile die roll.
Aha. So here's where we come to the. Thank you very much. Actually, that is very neatly encapsulates a mechanic of this system. If you fail a skill check, members of the crew can push their luck in order to succeed. Now, what this means is every member of the crew starts the game with 100 luck. This counts as effectively your hit points, your resilience, how well you go about doing your job. Various things can sap your luck, and if you ever reach 0, then that means you either start taking wounds if you take physical damage, or you are forced to flee a scene if you ever take mental damage. Now, if you fail a skill roll, you can push your luck, and this means that you can spend some of that in order to try and achieve a success. You can spend 10 points of luck to effectively raise your skill by 10. And it has to be in increments of 10. So you got an 84, did you say?
86.
86. Okay. So because your skill is 80, you could spend 10 luck to push that to a 90 and get a success on this roll.
How much luck do I have? I know I've lost some during last.
If I remember correctly, you took 20 damage last time, so you're on 80.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, but I know I took damage. I don't know. I can't remember how much.
I think you're on 80 at the moment. Let me just check. Yes, but for every 10 luck you spend, you will also have to roll a challenge dice.
Which is the D10, right?
Which is a D10, yes, sir.
Okay.
And there's a limit to the amount of luck that you can.
Yeah, you can spend a maximum of 40 on any given roll. So if you're going to increase this by 10,
it may actually be potentially less than that, because it's I'm just
I'm just
the
double
rules that you sent us. I believe, if I remember rightly, it's that each 10 luck you spend adds a challenge die, and there's a maximum of 4 challenge dice. So if you've got 2 already, say, then you can only spend 20 luck.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. So yes, but you have no challenge dice existing on this roll at the moment.
Yeah.
So you could spend up to 40, but you only need to spend 10.
And I need to roll the.
And you need to roll me a challenge dice, please.
I got a nat 1 on the.
Okay, so because you rolled odd, you get a drawback. Let me just check what drawbacks I can add.
I ran from drawbacks last session. Right now it's happening. No escape from the chrono bugs.
Okay, so what I am going to do is I am going to use that drawback to add 2 to the heat pool as a result of you're raising you succeed on finding someone, but he is this person is immediately on edge and seems a little wary as you approach her. She is a lady, you reckon, probably late 30s, early 40s. Looks like a respectable businesswoman, but you've touched up some of your contacts, and you've had the hint that she is in a little bit over her head with some gambling debts.
Okay.
So she runs a small cafe on about a street or two over from the Church of the Silver Hand. As you approach her.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Can I help you?
Yes, you may be able to help me. I've been told that you have some properties for renting in this area that I would be interested in finding more about.
Oh, sure. She sizes you up. Give me a description of how you look.
A tall, slender, brunette, long-haired guy with like a really menacing face, like a really rough-cut face, and unshaven. So, and always, or almost always, wearing a long, either black or dark brown cloak over his clothes.
Sure. She sizes you up. She seems a little bit nervous. Okay. Let's. Perhaps we should sit down and have a little talk. And she gestures you into a chair. And so you take a seat at a table on the street. And she gets some drinks and offers you a cup of tea. if you so wish. Uh, I do have some properties in this area. I'm a lady of modest means, but I could probably see about renting you something. What is it that you do, sir?
Well, I am oh, okay, sorry, but I can't remember the word. I have a failed roll check on language right now. What's the name of the person that takes care of funeral services
Um,
for people? Like,
Funeral director.
yes.
Thank you, John. My brain just went
Yeah,
completely
funeral,
blank for a second there.
funeral director
okay.
or parlourman in this game.
What was that again? I didn't
Parlourman.
understand.
Parlourman.
Parliament.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I am a parliament,
Oh,
and I
okay.
work for one of the funeral service providers in this town.
And what is it that what is it that you are looking for, sir?
Well, I'm not looking for really big houses, but I'm gonna have some relatives coming in and staying for a while in this town, so I would need places to accommodate them, as I have a pretty big family, and we always have this habit of visiting each other at least once a year, so they're coming over.
Oh, I see. Oh, I'm very pleased that whoever you spoke to recommended me. I'm not sure how many people or how many places. I only have a few places that might be able to. So I don't know if I don't know how many people you are looking to accommodate.
Well, I'm looking to accommodate 6 or 7 people.
Okay.
Two families, 2 couples, and no, 3 couples, excuse me, and one single person. So one
Oh,
person that would need a
I
separate house, though.
I'm not sure. If I have. Uh, I'm not sure if I have enough space for all of that. As I say, I am a lady of modest means. My properties do not extend to being quite that significant. At this point, can you give me another size someone up roll, please? That's another 80%.
Okay, just a second. It's an instant success. It's a 63.
Sure. You get the feeling that she is not telling the truth. You get the feeling that she is very wary and probably is very hesitant about renting her properties to you. She almost seems like she is trying to distract you, or at least fob you off in some way.
So, you said that you don't have enough property space
No,
for
not for that many people. I'm afraid I could probably, I could probably rent you a place that for half that number, maybe for one or two of the couples. But that's about it, I'm afraid.
well, the friend of mine that recommended you to me told me that you have a lot of properties around, so I
Oh,
wouldn't have come to you knowing that you don't have the means to help me, ma'am. So I was recommended to I was told to approach you about it.
she leans in. Who have you
Okay.
been speaking to?
Hmm. Well, does it really matter? I think
Um,
it doesn't matter. Or do you
I
want to tell? Do you want people around you to hear what your problems are? Because I would rather not harm you if not necessary.
Who said
I
anything
have
about
some.
problems?
Well, let's just say there's a lot of money involved between you and a friend of mine. A lot of money that came from you playing games with the wrong people, I dare say.
There's a deep inhale as her face tightens.
So, how about you tell me exactly what the situation is, and I can help making that debt forgotten and erased out of the books.
You can do that?
Yes, I can, but that depends on you more than you know. So it's all up to you if you want me to intervene or not.
Okay. If you can do that, then I can give you what you want.
What you really
But you have to assure me that we are all square after this. That your friend will not be coming after me. That we are settled.
My friend will get the money from me. So consider the rent paid for the next 10 or 20 years.
How long do you need use of these properties for?
Probably 1 or 2 days, not more.
At this point, I'm going to ask you for a play games roll, please.
Oh,
Okay.
And you can take an advantage dice on this.
That's a D8, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have a 65% chance of success.
It's exactly 65 on the D100.
Excellent.
It's exactly 6 on the D8.
Okay, so no advantage, but you get your success on the skill check.
Okay.
Okay, I agree to your terms. She gives you. She takes out a scrap of paper from her ordering pad and scribbles down a couple of addresses. You can have use of these places. I'll get you the keys. That's not a problem. You can have them for anything up to 4 nights. No questions asked, and we'll consider this all. Settled.
That's all right, baby. But before anything, I want to ask you about the neighbors. I would not like to have prying eyes looking through the windows into my family's rooms.
Don't worry. These properties are empty at the moment.
All right.
You will be undisturbed.
All right then.
Um,
I dare say it's been a pleasure to make business with you, ma'am.
her tight lips extend into a tight smile. And you, sir. And she bids you wait. She heads into the cafe and comes back with a key ring. You'll find all the keys that you need on this ring. Just bring it back to me in a few days.
Will picks up rather the key ring and kisses the lady's hand and bids farewell to the businesswoman.
She again tight smile, and you as you step away, you see her wipe the back of her hand on her apron. It's at this point because asking around and such has taken most of the day, that a runner approaches you, and you are given a small envelope, which on the back of which you notice a mark from the lady that basically makes it out to be from the lady that you were dealing with from your investigations yesterday.
Should I open it here or like?
There's enough like concealed alleyways or overhanging spaces or such if you wanted to duck out of sight to read it.
Okay, because I have to remember what the note was about.
So as a
I
reminder,
don't have my notebook with me right now, and
Yeah.
I had some things
that's fair.
down about.
So one of the things that you had bargained with, because when you spent your legwork scene yesterday, on the previous day, trying to find out information about the librarian, like where he was coming in. You were trailing with contacts outside of the city or from who had access to information from outside.
I remember.
And you said you asked her to send you information to find you if anything relevant came up.
Well, this is some good news, rather. Will says as he's scrolling through the paper with his eyes looking around him as much as looking at the paper.
Sure. So what the note says is your mark has arrived. He has gone to what's the name of the thing? So he has gone to where is the name? He has gone to the Obliging Noble. He seems to be staying there tonight. And you get a description of him. He is the description puts him as a young man, probably late 20s.
Okay,
But
just a second. I want to read this down.
sure.
Jesus, and not drop my phone in the process.
Oop.
Oh yeah, my laptop and my laptop is holding my phone, so I'm trying to like figure out how to do it without killing the. Okay, now we are good.
The dice man. That's awful.
I know, it's a terrible
So-
book.
Young man in his 20s, right?
Yeah. Late 20s, but looks older. Is what the note says. Staying at has booked into the Obliging Noble, carrying a small leather backpack.
Oh, okay. Oh,
No other
Obliging
luggage.
Noble. Small leather backpack. Okay. Anything else of interest in that note?
No, it's very blunt. It's very brief. So you've basically got a description of him and the fact that he has arrived at the inn that Fishy had identified. That Frankie had identified.
Frankie the fish.
Frankie the fox had identified. So
Not Frankie Pescado.
we will draw a line under that legwork scene. It is the end of the day.
As we know it.
So you have the opportunity to basically, your crew comes back together effectively, for at the end of the segment. But it is up to you to decide whether or not, as we go into the night segment, segment 4, whether this is a planning scene or a legwork scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will leave you with that decision while I take a very quick bio break. Apology.
Okay, guys, we've got 5 minutes for quick planning. Go!
Yes. Quick planning session, and then we say it's a legwork.
Question has to be, do we know that my plan has gone completely out the window? Hello again, Cat.
I don't think it. I don't think it has. He's still not.
Yeah,
won't-
sorry.
Okay. Why do you think your plan's gone out of the window?
Well, Frankie doesn't think his plan's gone out the window because Frankie was not involved in that last legwork scene and does not know information that Will has.
I kind of tuned out on the thing because it's terribly hot in here. So, I'm sorted to go in on my account. You've set up, Frankie's set up potential distraction.
Turn up with. Well, he hasn't done that yet.
Oh,
That's
right,
what I'm going to spend influence to do now.
Sorry.
Except I'm probably not going to spend influence to do that now. Frankie will turn up with a wagon full of goods, as described earlier. His crates ready for putting kidnapped victims in. Couple of hooded cloaks for disguising 2 people, one driving the wagon and one not.
Mm-hmm.
Blackjacks for bashing kidnapped victims on the back of the head with. A crate of fireworks in case you still want them for a distraction somewhere or for some other purpose. Or as was suggested earlier, to celebrate after this is all over.
Yes.
I think that's what we're going to use them for.
And an additional hooded cloak suitable for the. I've forgotten it again. I cannot apparently remember.
And you've got extra caltrops for Carolina.
Listrick County name. A hooded cloak suitable for wearing in Listrick County in case you need a quick change during your operation, and a couple of bags of caltrops for you.
Yes, so you can hand out equipment before reassign all of that. So, are we looking at a planning scene or legwork scene, sir?
I think we're looking at a legwork scene, aren't we?
Okay.
Okay, we're going into legwork.
Cool. So this is taking 4. Who is going to start? Which one of you is going first this night?
Well, I mean, how are we doing this? Drutt and Michelangelo were effectively in the same scene.
Yeah,
weren't they?
basically working tandem.
Okay.
We didn't really plan how this was working as to who is involved in which scene, apart from the mention of Michelangelo and Drutt. So that decision, I suppose, is being made now on the fly. Who is in that scene?
So
Just
for the purposes,
you have Will covering you.
Will has got to be. It's Will and Frankie have got to be on the kidnapping.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
we
what I thought was
agreed
already
on that
agreed.
last session.
Yeah.
So I will do just a quick thing here. What was I going to say? I completely forgot my train of thought now. As soon as I said that. So under normal circumstances, what there would be is there would be the back and forth, and the final segment would be used to actually pull off the job. What it sounds like to me that you are describing is effectively that you are effecting 2 final scenes. That you're trying to pull off one plan in this segment, and if that goes wrong or doesn't work out the way you think, you're trying to effect it in the next segment. Is
that was what we were going for? Yeah.
Yeah,
we were
that's
trying to
much it.
work the system, basically.
Well, braces.
That's not the way the game usually works.
Has the game ever survived contact with Hint?
I will say that yes, this is the first time that I have ended up effectively with 2 plans trying to be enacted consecutively. So I am going to run this effectively as we are entering two drama scenes. I know roughly what happens or will happen in any given area. we are going to be playing a little bit fast and loose with the rules here, in order to carry out the plan that you want to put into effect. And that is fine. But it does mean for anyone watching, we are not necessarily playing by rules as written here at this point.
And the person who's normally GM'd for you lots just sighs.
But we are going to play as close to as I can manage, and we will see how things transpire. So, it sounds like you're effectively splitting into two groups.
Yeah.
One of Frankie and Will, and one of Michelangelo and Carolina. Is that right?
Seems that
That's
way.
my understanding.
Okay.
So everyone was being totally polite there. It was no, after you.
So, as I say, under normal circumstances, a legwork scene would have you individually take the lead in a scene, and obviously you can pop up in other people's scenes, but it would be 4 scenes. I think we will play this as 2 effectively, and not have it split into 4 in that respect. But the scenes may be a little bit extended depending on how things transpire. So, which group wants to go first? Carolina and Michelangelo, or Frankie and Will?
Should we have the action scene first?
Well, I want to...
Carolina and Michelangelo are going first.
Okay.
Exactly. That's perfect for me as well.
That's the way it's happening.
Meanwhile, Fish and Alex are there DMing each other frantically.
Okay, sure. So, what is it that you two want to achieve from this scene? Actually, before I do that, is there any influence being spent before the scene starts?
Does it have? Do we declare that at the start at this point then, and not
If
partway through?
If it is something you want in place for the start of the scene, yes. If it is something that crops up, so you were expecting to use your influence to
bring the gang fight.
Let me see what. Let me see what the wording.
To bring the noise.
Yes. Start trouble with a rival street gang as a distraction.
Start trouble with rival
is the
street
wording
gang.
on the cartel page.
Okay, so yes, that will be influence point spent at the point of distraction. Then.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't declare it knowing that I'm going to use it in the scene. I wait till I want it and then go bang. Right.
Yeah, you can do that if you so wish. Carolina, is there any influence that you want to spend before the scene starts? And remember, you have 2 in the communal pool as well.
None of my things are appropriate.
Okay.
For anything not involving nobility. If we need to use any of mine, something's gone seriously pear-shaped.
If it does, I will point out that Amoris Carvel is a member of the nobility as well as being a member of the church.
That's true.
For those of you watching, Amoris Carvel is the senior church member who has been assigned to the House of the Silver Hand. He is the one who is effectively in charge at this building.
In that case, yes, actually I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't see any other that would even vaguely be appropriate that Frankie or Will couldn't do better.
Right.
Later on. Unless we urgently need access to a poppy den.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a really specific. I would like to uncover a piece of blackmail-worthy information from the deep ledgers about one of the city's nobles.
Okay. Which noble would you like to find out something?
That would be Mr. Caravel.
Okay. So, what would be appropriate for you to find out? So, well, I'll say that you did this while you were basically working on your disguise during the legwork.
Okay, that's reasonable.
That's fair.
It did only just occur to me. I do apologise.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to not let me have it, that's fine.
No, that's fine. It is perfectly fine for you to do this. What would be relevant here? Okay. So, what you find out is Amaris Carvel is not quite the clean-cut man of the cloth that he claims to be. He has a habit, and not a monastic one. He has a habit of indulging in an alchemical substance that, amongst the nobility, goes by the name of Varenvine wine.
Not Indian. Sorry.
It is.
There's two bullshit comments this evening. There was something very funny going on.
It is a soporific hallucinogen that is relaxes the body, relaxes the soul, and relaxes the lips.
Does it now?
We have a tendency to indulge in this in a Vesper-controlled spa called the Flowering Amaryllis. And whilst under the influence of Varenvine wine, he has also let slip a few things. The fact that he has a habit in of itself is probably good enough to blackmail him with. But that doesn't actually help you right now. But what you do also uncover is that whilst under the influence of Varenvine wine, he has suggested or intimated that he knows magic, that he has sorcerous capabilities.
That's not very sensible of him.
And that he has been known to use these.
Well, now I'm looking at his travelling exhibition of artefacts with a new light.
Wondering about the book.
So, yes. So you get that you get the information that he is a magic user. And magic use is something that is very tightly controlled in the city. Sorcery and magical power is very much looked down upon, mainly for the fact that that all the stories about magic use are highly dangerous, are highly antagonistic. Like there are no stories really of good use of magic. There are
witches and wizards.
That sort of thing. It's the powers used to conjure monsters from the dark days before humanity is often the
Start you need to go on.
Yes. But that is the sort of thing that is what you find out from your use of influence.
Cool.
So we are going to go. I'm going to assume that the cart and wagon is going to be in Frankie and Will's scene. It's not like you're stationing it in this district. Okay. So
we're hoping to get him before he goes near the district.
Yeah. So night falls over Listric County.
I've done that a few times.
Sorry.
Over Listric
Get the lamppost out of the way before he does it.
I think it's conceivable my headset band may be dying.
Night falls over Listric County. You make your way. How are you making your way there?
Probably walking.
Mm-hmm.
On foot, but not together.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just need to add 4 heat to the pool just
Yeah.
for the start of the segment.
Yes.
Heat pool stands at 16.
Okay. I am trudging. Or at least I'm walking until I hit the district, and then I'm trudging.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You are disguised. I'm guessing Michelangelo is as he usually is.
Correct. A disguise would somewhat torpedo my idea of starting a bit of a ruckus.
That is entirely fair.
Yeah, for once, you're not disguised.
Who would know if Michelangelo was disguised? I mean, do you actually have any idea what he really looks like?
Yes, Michelangelo is also an alias.
Now you've got me worried.
Okay, so I'm not doing.
He is, in fact, the hood.
No, he's the shadow.
Fun film.
Okay.
I was actually thinking Blackadder, I must admit.
But actually, it works
I
both
was
ways.
thinking that underneath all that, it's Queenie.
Oh, gosh.
That's
It'll take me a while to get the voice right.
Squirrels. Hate squirrels.
Okay. Can you both give me a sneak around roll, please? And let me just double check something.
Any advantage dice or challenge
I'm
dice?
just checking that.
I was just thinking, oh my god, I haven't got a sneak around skill. Yes, I have. It's one of my best.
I was about to say, I would expect you to have a sneak around skill.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of column 1. Everything else I have rolled so far has been on column 2.
Ah.
Suddenly we're into the it's happening at night, therefore I get to roll on my decent skills.
Actually, come to think of it, I haven't rolled on column 2 yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. In the first game, I picked a lock.
I'm actually going to make that
17.
So, Carolina, you have 1 challenge dice on this.
Okay.
But aside from that, no, nothing else.
4 on my challenge die.
Okay. What were your sneak rolls?
I made it by 13. So,
Oh, Christ.
Sorry, no, I didn't. I made it by 63.
Okay, and Michelangelo?
Made it by 78.
Okay, cool.
Show off.
Yeah. You wander around, and yeah, okay. I'm also going to spend 4 heat here to introduce a minor complication, and that is I'm going to say that you spent the initial part of that using the old city and coming in via Greywater, so coming in via the slums in order to approach your target. As you get closer and as you enter Lustric County itself, you get the feeling that people are a bit on edge. There aren't a lot of people around, but they do seem to be, peering over their shoulders a bit more, walking a little bit faster. Sorry, not walking a bit faster, but paying a bit more attention to their surroundings. It feels like, as I say, something has got them a little bit het up. But it means that people are paying more attention to other people.
Okay.
So, any sneaking around or suspicious activity rolls from here on out are going to automatically attract 2 challenge dice.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks for that.
I didn't think I would have that much of a. Oh, okay.
Yes, you kicked an anthill a little bit.
You do
Yes.
also notice, as part of this, there do seem to be a few more people wearing your rival gang colours. Just
Excellent.
not in any obvious groups, but you know, one or two more people standing around, or just out of sight on the corner of your eye down an alleyway, than you would expect to be here. So,
God, I love second story work.
so
Just reread it. Oh, it's awesome.
you approach the house of the
Second story work mean that you have a lousy dexterity. Oh no, that's only the way Wizards of the Coast define it in the Brandel the pre-gen character.
God, yes, you're right.
Yep. So
Yeah.
just for those who aren't familiar with it, the pre-gen halfling thief is described as a second story expert, aka cat burglar, and has an appalling dex and lousy climb skill.
Oh dear.
Well done, Wizards.
I think all those pre-gens were just Friday afternoon jobs.
Yeah, they just come
Anyway,
back from the
back
pub.
to this game.
Yes.
Yes.
So you approach the house of the Silver Hand. How are you doing this, and what do you want to do?
Right. Okay. How close are the nearest buildings to the schoolhouse come
So-
church?
The all four sides. It is a detached building. It
Yep.
stands alone. The main, what passes for the main street, i.e., one that is a bit wider than the alleyways that a cart can go down, is out front. The two
Okay.
the two side alleys, probably no more than about 5 foot wide till the next building. One of which looks very dilapidated and ruined, and where Michelangelo told you that there is a staircase going down into the Undercity.
Okay.
The rusted iron staircase that he spiral staircase that he found. Behind the house of the Silver Hand is a narrow, well, it's not narrow, I mean, again, probably about 4 foot wide, before it drops away into the canals below. There is a short distance from there is a set of stairs that lead down to a gondolier dock.
Right.
A gondola dock, rather.
Okay.
And
Gondolas, just gondoliers.
yeah. Yeah, it's made out of gondoliers.
Yes.
Wait.
You actually have to plug the gondoliers in.
All of whom annoyed the family at some point.
So you
Laminated into the hull.
you've got that. As I say, this isn't a big building. I mean, it's a one-story building effectively that is a little on the higher side. As you remember going through, there was no second story. It's all ground floor, but high ceilings effectively. There's no spire or anything like that. You've got the windows that you saw were shuttered that lead into the library on the back side of the on the canal side of the building. On one side you have one side where there was just the corridor and one of the workrooms. There's no windows there.
Right.
There's no obvious entranceway there.
Yep.
Front of the building, you've got the double doors up like the cracked stairs, and on the other side, you've got two windows. One which would lead into the kitchen, and one which would lead into Amaris's office.
Right.
Both of which are shuttered at this point.
Right. Are there any chinks of light showing?
Give me a case the joint roll, please.
Okay.
And this will attract the 2 dice.
Yep,
challenge.
no worries. Double and 8, so I'm fine. So yeah, made it.
You made it. Okay.
Yep.
As far as you can tell, the entire building is dark.
Good. Right, those windows at the back,
Mm-hmm.
on the canal side.
Yes.
how high are they from the ground?
Hmm.
And how much does the roof overhang?
So these windows were higher up because they effectively had to be over the bookcases
Yeah.
that were in the room. So these are approximately 6.5 foot up the wall.
Okay.
As for a roof overhang, yeah, there are probably eaves overhanging it.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to shamelessly take advantage of second story work.
Yep.
What it's there
And
for.
oh, you're gonna like this one. I am going to head up the back wall to the roof,
Hmm.
and I am going to lie flat on the roof and unhinge the shutters from the outside
Hmm.
from that position. And then I am basically going to do a somersault into the window. All of which I can do without making any rolls.
Correct. You do not have to make a skill check in order to do so. The challenge dice will still apply.
Oh yeah.
I am also giving you a. I'm also going to give you an advantage dice because that is a very cool way of entering
It's
the building.
style, isn't it? Okay, so how many tasks is that going to be that I need to roll challenge dice on?
So it's one.
Or one, or one use?
It's one for the basically entering the building.
Okay.
So you roll 2 challenge dice and 1 advantage dice, please.
Okay. Hey Google, set the bedroom light to 100%, please. Thank you.
How are things with you, Alex? I've just noticed that you said your internet is playing up.
Yeah, it's
We've
okay
been
now.
getting.
It's a bit
Yeah,
better, but you are still falling off sometimes.
Okay, we'll try and do our best.
We've been
Then.
getting the internet issues are affecting your call message intermittently throughout the entire
Yeah.
session. But it's not there at the moment, actually.
Okay,
Well, I'm not.
hopefully.
I've got a boon, but I lucked out on the challenge dice.
You got a boon and
I got 2 10s.
and 2 10s. Okay, cool. Sure. Let me just check something.
Obviously, the drop in temperature by the rain is now worn off because.
Yeah, same here, Drutt. Exactly in the same situation.
Okay. So, your advantage dice. So you get a boon. You manage to get the window open now, and somersault in, and you land on top of one of the bookcases. Before you is the room as you had seen it before, a library that has obviously seen slightly better days, and the bookshelves are slightly worn, but obviously were very nicely carved at one point. Not that many books on the shelves, and the 3 display cases that are in the middle of the room. The 2 which are empty, and the one in the center, which houses the relic that was described to you, the Eye of Saint. I didn't actually
Femur
write.
of Saint Lucinda.
That was it. The Femur of Saint Lucinda. Oh, I did write it down. It is actually in my notes. And it is at this point that you notice that the femur is glowing.
Well, that's not something.
It is glowing with a dull yellow, a dull white light, and it seems to almost be pulsing, but very faintly. Can you give me another case the joint roll at this point, please?
Yep. Am I still incurring 2 challenge dice?
You are not, because you are inside now.
Okay. That is a 55.
That is a 55.
Which is a making it.
You, as you come down from the bookshelf, You feel somewhat uneasy.
But big glowing bone.
It's not that. Weirdly enough, the glowing bone makes you feel. It feels fine. Like it's magical, and you've not really seen magical objects before. But that's not what's causing you concern, or niggling at the edge of your senses. You get the feeling that there is a presence outside of the room.
Okay, outside the door, or outside the
You
window?
can't quite tell, but it is somewhere beyond the library door.
Good. There was only one door in and out of the library, wasn't there?
Yes.
Right then. Okay. I am I am going to ghost in. I have plans for that lock case. I really do. Yes, I'm going to ghost in, and is there a keyhole?
There is a keyhole.
I'm going to look through.
You know this room was locked up after Marla
Yeah.
showed you out of it.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dab of soot, which is in my equipment, and I'm just going to run it around the outside of my eye.
Sure.
So that if I peek through the keyhole, because they're likely to be quite big and chunky, anybody looking back in the other direction is not going to see nice pale skin.
Okay.
So, and then I'm going to have a look through the keyhole.
Okay. Can you give me another case of joint?
Yep.
Can you give me another case of joint? Hang on a moment.
Okay.
Let me just check something. Magnify. That's not what I want. Okay. Right. Okay. So yes, can I have your case of joint roll, please? And this has a challenge dice on it.
Okay. So that's a roll of 70, and the challenge die comes up as a 4.
As a 4. Okay. That's a pass for you, isn't it? Yes, because
Yeah.
you've got case at 80.
Yeah. Sorry, case of joint is 80. Pick a lock is 90.
Yes. So
That's a
you
you
don't see anything out there through the
that means
keyhole.
nothing. Okay. I am going to return to the case with the glowing artifact in. And with my lockpicks, I am going to make some strategic scratches around the lock.
Okay.
I'm not attempting to pick it.
Sure.
But to the untutored eye, I want it to look like a failed lockpick attempt.
Okay. That's fine. You can do that. That's not a problem for you.
Because I want them looking in the wrong direction if any theft is detected.
Okay. Michelangelo, what are you doing while Carolina is attempting to break in?
What I'm doing is, the minute that Carolina is out of sight and clearly in the building, that's when I'm looking to start making a fuss. So any of the guards that might be looking inwards start looking outwards, and so aren't giving Carolina any grief.
Well, there aren't any guards per se that you can see around the building.
You had said there were patrols, admittedly not paying a vast amount of attention, but
the City Watch don't patrol this area at night.
Right. Okay. My bad.
or at least this is the kind of district where they are not wont to.
In which case, I shall sit tight and hide and wait for sounds of commotion inside.
Sure. Okay. Carolina, you have made scratches on the case.
Right. I'm headed back to the door and I am listening. Having looked, I'm listening now.
Are you You're unlocking the door, yeah?
I am unlocking the door, yeah.
Okay, just give me a roll just to make sure.
Yes, I'm not opening it, I'm unlocking it. That is a 6.
Okay.
And you made it by 84.
That is fine. You unlock the door silently, yeah.
Cool. Right, I am now listening at it. But,
You don't hear anything.
okay.
You still feel slightly disconcerted.
Yeah, I think this place is haunted, you know. Or it's got a guardian or something. And I know nothing about such things, so I'm just going to assume the worst. Right, I am pulling out one of my little sacks of soot.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure it's open and at the ready.
Right.
I'm not saying for certain, I'm just cautious.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm opening the door just barely enough for me to get through.
Okay.
And I'm doing it from a crouching position.
Okay.
No, she's not paranoid at all. Okay.
Okay. Let me just check what your... Right. Okay. So you look out and there is the corridor which branches as you had it previously.
Yeah.
So you're basically looking at in front of you the walls of the two workrooms in the center of the building.
Yeah.
And then corridor stretching out left and right, and then heading down towards the front of the building.
You see, if there's any justice in this world, the book is in one of the two workrooms, and therefore will be easy to get. If there isn't any justice in this world, it's going to be in the heavily locked new office.
Well, the new lock that you saw was on one of the
It was
workrooms.
on one of the workrooms, wasn't it? Yes, sorry, I got that in the office mixed round. Oh, well, in that case, I'm going to assume it's in the heavily locked workroom.
Okay.
I'm going to sneak down and have a look at the through the keyhole. And we can safely assume that any time I move at the moment, I'm sneaking.
Okay. So on this workroom, you have effectively two locks. You have a heavy copper padlock that is the new, and a lock which looks like any of the others.
Okay.
But it is the heavy copper padlock that drew your attention.
Yeah.
Originally. Yeah.
Is copper a common metal to make padlocks out of?
I mean, as I say, it looks copper. Copper coloured is probably the best.
Okay.
The best way of.
I was just checking. It's not like it, made out of silver or something.
No.
Okay, I am going to try and spring the padlock then.
You are trying to spring the padlock. Give me a pick lock.
Oh yeah, I feel challenge dice coming on.
Yes. Can you add a challenge? So it is the copper one that you are attempting, yeah?
Yeah, it's the harder one I'm doing first.
Sure.
Yes.
Give me. There is a challenge dice on this as well.
Okay.
Alongside that.
Okay, 16 on the pick locks roll and 6 on the challenge die.
Okay. Can you give me a case the joint roll with a challenge die on it as well, please?
Okay. Oh god, bang on. Actually, just rolled 80.
Right.
which is exactly what I needed, fortunately.
Mhm.
And then 8 on the challenge.
Okay. It takes you a little while because this is a pretty good lock, but your skills are enough to defeat it. As you do so, you get the feeling that there's a movement of air that you're not certain, but it's almost like there is something in one of the branch, like not in the bit of the corridor that you're in,
Uh-huh.
but there is a presence in these corridors.
Oh, good. Right. This is an incentive to get through the next lock really, really quickly. Of which I am picking.
You are. Okay, give me a pick lock roll, please.
No, let's actually use the dice that have been rolling well. That is a 66. Apparently I'm
Okay.
rolling nothing but doubles.
You manage to get through the ordinary lock pretty quickly. That's not that's no trouble to your skill.
Yeah, there's not a lock in the world I can't undo if I'm scared enough.
But your nerves are very much on edge at this point.
Yeah.
Like if you cast your eyes to the left and the right, you can't see anything, but you've just got this horrible feeling, and it's stronger now.
Okay. I am going to, before I crack the door, I am going to do a quick sprinkle of soot.
Right.
Onto the carpet, where
Sure.
I get the strongest feeling.
Well, I mean, it's stone
direction.
flags.
Sorry. For some reason, I had it in my mind. It was a rug.
No, the library is carpeted.
Yeah, that's right. In that case, that'll be easy then. Yeah, I'm going to do a sprinkling of soot onto the stone floor.
Okay.
If it's invisible, that will show footprints.
Mm-hmm.
If it's simply a thing, then I'm willing to dump an entire bag of soot over its head so I can see the damn thing. It's not my fault. I've been faffed on the grey mouse at an impressionable age.
Right. Okay. So you have. What are you doing? You're in the corridor. You have 2 unlocked locks.
I am carefully removing the padlock so there's no chance of it falling.
Mm-hmm.
And making a loudnoise.com.
Sure.
And then I am cracking the door.
Right. You open the door and slip inside.
Assuming I don't have huge amounts of light and voices coming out from there, yeah.
No. Like the room is quiet beyond.
Okay. Yes, in that case.
Sure. Right. You quickly slip inside. You are faced with what appears to be a small workroom. There are boxes of slightly mouldering pamphlets and such on the floor. Workbenches, like a bench lines one wall with various shelves that, like, glassware that has definitely not seen a duster in many years. There is like in the center of the room, there is a scriptorium table. So like a draftsman table, it's got an angled desk surface and a seat in front of it. A high stool for somebody to sit on. Obviously, it was probably well padded in previous days, but the cushion is somewhat threadbare.
Yeah.
And on that desk is a book that matches the description that you were given. It is bound in orangey leather, with a unfamiliar script that you reckon. Well, actually, it's not unfamiliar. You will know what Teonan looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like Teonan, but you don't speak it well enough to actually tell
No, that's fair.
or read it.
Orange, green letters,
Yes.
copper lock.
Slim
Copper
volume.
again.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So yes, it's orange dyed leather, slim volume, green lettering on the front and spine, and a copper book lock on it. It is sitting on the middle of the table. Nothing else around it.
Okay.
At this point,
I'm going under
what
the
did you do
table.
with what did you do with the door?
Left it slightly ajar because I don't know where the light is coming from.
Well, there is no light really.
I'm basically just on what my eyes have adjusted to.
Yeah, you actually this room is basically pitch dark.
Hence, I left it partially ajar because any ambient light.
Yeah, there's probably a tiny bit from let me see. Actually, no, it's pitch dark. There's because there are no windows into the corridor.
So it would only be any light coming through the library door if I left that ajar.
Yes.
So by the time I get to this, my eyes are going to be fully dark adjusted.
Yeah.
But,
so basically, you can pick you've got picked out outlines. That's about it.
Yeah. What I'm going to do then is I am going to place myself in relation to the book, along with anything that is between me and it.
Right.
And then I'm going to close the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm aiming to duck under the table. I want to get to the far side of the table, ideally without knocking any other furniture.
Okay. Can you
I don't want to go round, I want to go under.
Sure. Can you give me a sneak around roll, please?
Yep.
This is to determine how quickly you do this.
Yes. I'm being careful. Oh, for God's sake. Excuse me. That is a 54, breaking my duck. Am I rolling a challenge?
Not at this point.
That's always comforting.
So, you duck under the table.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't disturbed the book or anything, have you? Well,
no, I haven't touched it.
Okay. You wait a few moments.
Yeah.
And then, if you had hackles, they would be raising. The hair on the back of your neck starts to stand. You are feeling extremely uncomfortable. As you said, you left the door slightly ajar, didn't you? Well,
I did while I was assessing the room.
Sure.
I closed it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was in pitch black. That's why I wanted to try and get the positions in my head clear as to where the furniture is.
So.
Sorry. Sorry, I wrenched my back earlier.
Oh no.
It's all right. It's okay.
Peering out as minimally as you can from beneath the table.
I'm waiting for my eyes to stop sending me random messages. You know, when you're staring in pitch black, you start getting the nerves start firing based on anything.
There is a strange presence. As let me just get a description.
I should have bought some salt.
Kerosene. Right.
I think the church is possessed.
Through the door, you see a pair of arms in inky, nebulous smoke. Basically,
shouldn't be able to see. Let's face it.
Yes, but your eyes are somehow telling you that this is
Yeah.
what you are seeing.
Yeah, I feel of paging Karnaki the Ghost Hunter at this stage.
It's almost like the vision of this thing is impressing itself on your mind without having to bother with anything as trivial as eyeballs. As what you perceive is these smoky, nebulous arms tipped with smoky, nebulous claws reach through the doorway, preceding a bestial, smoky form. It doesn't touch the ground. It
Right.
looks. It is hovering above the ground, and the only color that you can see are a pair. Is a trio of bright red eyes that look as if there is any other way for a creature to look like this, balefully around the workroom,
Oh, well, aren't you a charmer?
and a as this form, think like a hulking lupine form, but with a face that is very not wolf-like. It's like an amalgam of bear and wolf and snake and every horror that you have read in any children's storybook.
And in the distance, I hear someone go, Gaiva!
And I say a trio of eyes above what is possibly a muzzle, or a
Let's assume
maw,
it is.
and you feel again no sound, but you get it's like almost telepathically. Who is there? Come out.
I'm sorry, did I come down in the last rain shower?
Hey,
I don't say.
yeah.
Oh, we're not having any of that. Okay.
There is someone here.
I've played Thief of the Dark Project. I'm
out.
holding my breath.
Come out, little worm.
Right. Okay.
At this point, I'm going to use what is effectively the turn system here. And I just need to quickly refresh myself on how this works. Progress, thing. Okay.
I love this. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do, but I do love this.
Okay.
And Drutt, for my part, I'm sorry. I should probably have come in with you and done something else with this distraction. I'm sorry.
We are actually until a commotion arises.
Yeah.
Because still effectively in.
That is the letter I am mentally penning, Fish.
That is superb, Fish. I love it.
I have, however, figured something. It's vaguely wolf-like. Wolves are a lot like dogs. I wonder if I throw that bone at it.
No, if it's like a dog, what you do, you take the book, because that's what it's going to be after.
Yeah.
You make like you're going to throw the book, it goes running. You haven't thrown the book, you go the other way.
Yeah, that always
Did
works
you-
with dogs.
Just read my frontal lobes, because that's literally... that is literally what I've got in mind.
So you basically for the next couple of minutes, the form, whatever this thing is basically just like floating around, and I realise there are circumstances where I may have to roll dice.
I don't want you to think Carolina is not scared, by the way. Carolina is bricking it. But
Drutt, however, is loving it.
Carolina, however, is also working on the assumption that if it's asking where she is, it probably doesn't know yet.
Okay, so let me just do at this point. We are effectively. Carolina is effectively in combat, and this is a mental combat because its words are assaulting your mind. So
Would that be a lie to someone's skill then to avoid responding?
That's yes. Can you give me a lie to? Yeah. Can you give me a lie to someone to resist this?
Thinking of a brick wall, and then no prize if anybody can get that particular reference.
This does attract 2 challenge dice, sir.
Oh, of course
Remember
it does.
that Mary had a little lamb.
God, which one was that from?
P5.
Of course it was. Yes, the brick wall was the original Midwich Cuckoos. Children of the Damned.
I know I have an Iron Maiden song in my head. Thank you.
Yes. Excellent, excellent film.
Yes.
Brilliant story. Okay, well, let's see what we roll.
Pretty good song.
Yeah. Okay, so I made the lie to someone by 25, and I rolled a 6 and a 4 on the challenge dice.
Okay, you avoid getting. You avoid saying anything, and you manage to retain your composure to this. But its words are very the strain of doing so, the stress of doing so, and the actual words like hitting your mind are enough to cause 10 luck damage.
Wouch! I was
So
wondering
you
when I was
lose
going
10
to get hit with that.
Sheesh.
Okay,
Another minute passes. It is still there. It is still trying to get you to reveal yourself.
Is it pretty much staying put, or is it wandering around?
It's wandering. It's like floating around.
Okay.
It's not. It doesn't look like it's looking. It's almost like it's trying to like reach out with its mind.
It's trying to sniff my mind out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. It's the only way she's getting through this is she's thinking of it as a really specific kind of watchdog.
This you will not get better chances than this. Reveal yourself.
Go
Your
yourself.
mind is
Okay.
mine. So,
where is the book in relation to me based on my memory of the room?
before
I went under the table.
Oh. Can you give me another? Can you give me another lie to me roll to avoid?
Okay.
Avoid this. Yeah.
With the challenge dice, yeah.
With the challenge dice, yes.
Okay, that is a 31, which makes it, and keep them cross, kids. That is a 2 and a cocked. Hang on. A 10.
How are you doing this? How are you?
This is what Drutt does.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's just so it's just another 10 luck damage then, as you try and retain the will to avoid saying anything. In terms of where the book is, you could probably reach up and grab it, but your arm would be visible.
Okay,
if you want to do that.
Right, what I'm doing is I am moving very slowly, and I am dipping into the first pouch of caltrops that I've been given. And I'm pulling out maybe 1 or 2, just what I can comfortably hold between my fingers, so they don't clink.
Sure.
And what I am then doing is, if it's floating basically around, I am waiting until it is on the opposite side of the room to the door.
Sure.
And I am flicking. Yeah. And then I'm flicking the caltrops as far as I can, so they hit a wall or bookshelves. I don't really care what they hit, so they hit something and make a noise.
Yeah.
When if I lay out what I want to do, and then you
Yeah.
can tell me how it screws it up.
Sure.
When that noise triggers,
Mhm.
I'm not paying attention to what it's doing. I am literally grabbing the book and I'm making a run like hell roll.
Okay. Right. Can you give me 2 rolls then, please? Can I get a distract someone roll with
Yep.
2 challenge dice and
Yep.
a run like hell with 2 challenge dice?
Right. I always like to describe exactly how it is I'm buying the death of a character. Okay. Right. Distract someone I made by 25. And the 2 challenge dice. 8.
That was on the distract, yes?
That was on the distract.
Okay.
Now let's get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm.
19.
Right.
Oh, my mum. 2 and a 7. Had to end. But only 1.
Right. So you get a drawback from the run. Okay. Sure. Okay. So, you seem to distract it well enough. The caltrops bounce off like a glass and shatter on the far side of the room. And as you do to take advantage of that, you grab the book and book it.
Yeah.
However, you get the feel like as you do so, you get the impression on your mind of like a roar, and this mental, the mental disconcertion and just the stress of what you have been doing.
It's gonna hit me a lot, isn't it?
This is 20 luck damage.
Wow.
Ouch.
We started with 100, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I just briefly thought, did we start with 100 or did we start with 50?
No, you start with 100. You book it out the door. You are in the corridor. What do you do next?
I am not stopping. I am headed straight back out to the library where I know there's an open window.
Sure. You book it through. You book it through the library door. How much attention and care are you paying to your flight through the building?
Well, I've only got to go through the corridor and then through the library itself. Which at least I can see in. If nothing else, the bone is giving me nice light.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's instinctively quiet, so she's probably not going as fast as she can.
Sure.
She can't go the flat-out sprint.
Uh-huh.
But she is shifting some. I'm endeavouring not to knock anything over. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
So her removal. She's going to be running quite hard on the corridor, but in the library, she's going to be trying not to knock any bookshelves or anything over.
Okay. Sure.
Look, I'm wearing soft-soled shoes, and that's not going to necessarily make much noise on the stone.
That's fine. Can you give me another run like hell roll, please?
Oh God, yes.
Having stolen the book, you have committed a crime against the nobility, so that adds 2 heat to the pool.
Damn, they've got good alarm systems to know that already.
Excuse me, floating magic zoonoid.
Yeah, good point.
How is
And
approaching
2
magic
challenge
paranoid that they can't tell anyone about?
Yeah, potato. The challenge dice 6/6.
6/6. Okay.
If you just had one more, then the game would have ended in a big explosion.
You make it into the library. Yeah.
Yep.
You book it up one of the bookshelves, and as you're basically scrambling on top of one of the on top of the bookshelf to get out of the window, the light in the room gets brighter.
Oh no, just taking the piss.
The femur is glowing a lot brighter as you see the arms and the smoky creature basically pushes through the doorway of the room.
Okay.
But
I'm going to do something really daft now. I am actually going to pause, hold my breath, and watch.
Okay. You pause as you see the creature enter the room through the doorway. But it shies away from the center of the room.
There were two ways that could go.
It seems to back up and starts floating around the edge of the room, trying to keep away from the glowing femur as far as it can. It is looking directly at you, though, as it reaches out towards you.
Okay.
You are mine. But its voicing's a little bit weaker at this point. And as it reaches out, you almost feel like the claws raking against your mind again. Wow, it's running pretty well.
You'll find I'm mine.
Can you give me a lie to you roll, please?
Yep. Okay. Oh god, I actually need to look this one up. Hang on.
No challenge dice on this one.
Lie to someone. Oh, cool. Sorry, I just had a moment. So yes, made it.
Okay. You take 10 points of luck damage.
Shit. Next time, you come in.
You got it.
I take it you're jumping out of the window at this point.
At this point, I am slithering out of the window and Lara Crofting it up onto the roof.
Okay.
Sorry, you're not familiar with the Lara Croft handstand.
Grab the edge.
Yeah.
Up,
I think the correct response to you claiming that you're lower cropping it up onto the roof would have just been for him to say no.
No, you're Carolinaing it up onto the roof. Okay. You flip up onto the roof. Michelangelo, where are you? How much attention are you paying to? Because you knew where she was entering.
I knew where she was entering, so I'm assuming that's going to be the point of exit. So I'm going to be as close as I can to that, listening for sounds of a fracas, sounds of shouts of alarm, anything that is this has gone wrong.
Well, you're not telepathic, because if you could hear my train of thought, you would just have nothing but shit.
Oh, if I was telepathic, I'd have already started the gang fight.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. You flip up onto the roof. Take a moment to breathe. You have the book in your hand.
That's going inside my jacket.
Right. Can you give me a case of joint roll, please?
Yeah. Is it coming up through the roof, basically?
Well, that would just be cheating.
24. Yes, I bloody can.
You are not taken by surprise then, as the smoky form emerges from the roof below you. It's a flat roof. And you see it kind of like gloom up around you. Now.
Okay.
Michelangelo.
Yes.
Can you give me you see basically a smoky form materialize on the roof next to Carolina. And this thing is, again, like it was for Carolina, this thing seems to be bypassing your eyes and going straight to burning itself into your brain. Can you give me a lie to someone roll, because that's the
Light
easiest.
someone. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
I have that skill.
Mentally dodging.
Yeah.
Yep, 27.
Okay. Yeah, you start to hear words in your head. It's like trespassers will be devoured.
Okay, I'm going to stand up in the middle of the street. Hey, bozos! I'm over here! And then I'm going to shoot it with a crossbow.
Okay, right. So we are effectively in. Oh, great. So you have you're shooting with a crossbow. You have you're basically being noisy. Yeah.
Oh,
and
yes.
disturbing the peace. Is this where you're
God,
spending?
yes,
Is this where you're?
Yeah, this is now triggering the
Yeah. Okay.
the influence point.
So 2 from disturbing the peace goes into the pool. That's 16.
I forgot that disturbing the peace was going to add stuff to the pool. Sorry, guys, that's my bad. I forgot it was going to do that.
And you fire your crossbow at the creature.
It's a hand crossbow. Says damage plus 30. It's a gaseous thing. I'm guessing it's just going to go straight through it, but it might distract it for a second, which is kind of what I'm hoping on.
Oh, at least I know what I'm planning to do next.
So yes, you see your bolt basically go straight through it. Does nothing. It is completely unfazed. There isn't even like a wisp out of place.
Oh, that's just disappointing.
It is very much focused on Carolina, but there are the sounds of running. There are sounds of running footsteps. There are sounds of windows and like doors, shutters being opened. You are seeing lights being turned on. There is a hubbub starting to emerge as 2 figures round the corner in your rival gang's colours.
Excellent.
Turn up and basically point at you. One has a pistol crossbow, one has a sword, or rather has a dagger. It would be rather.
Come on, I've got my buddy up there. He's going to get you.
Okay.
Look at the smoky thing.
So we are now effectively into what passes for initiative in things. So it will be turns backwards and forwards for short actions. I will say that you have the advantage on this. So Carolina and Michelangelo, what are you doing? You can act in any order.
Okay. Well, the idea is to get away with the book. Is to get away clean. And I'm not staying here. And it's a flat roof. I know which side that the entrance to the under city is.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I am sprinting along the width of the roof, and I am taking a flying jump at the rubble building opposite, in which I know the staircase is, and attempting to make my way in there as fast as humanly possible with alacrity.
Okay, can I get 2 rolls from you then, please?
You
Can I get a run like hell with 2 challenge dice?
Yeah.
And can I get a climb, jump, or tumble with 2 challenge dice, please?
Okay, so...
actually, no. Both of these are... you have 2 challenge dice from the creature. You have 2 challenge dice from people being wary and alert. So both of these attract 4 challenge dice.
Right, alright then. That's fine. Shit. Okay, well, I made the first roll, and 2 of the challenge dice. I'll get back to you in a minute with the second. Shit. Okay, so the run like hell actually came off.
Right.
Now the run, jump, tumble, running, jumping, climbing trees, which is better. Thank God for that. Okay. So that's a successful roll, and that is an 8, that is a 2, and that is a 4, and that is a 4.
Wow!
Guys, do it again.
I'm just going to take a moment here to process that. Wow.
Well,
Like-
I'm just shocked.
It balances out. Well, I can make a roll on d6s and roll 27 of the buggers before getting a single 6. Drutt can do that.
Wow.
I just thought, no, I am going to face plant the wall, slide down it like Wile E. Coyote, while
No,
being peppered
you-
with bolts from.
You avoid the creature lashing out at you. You leap across the intervening gap and land cat-like on the surface. Like, despite everything that could potentially go against you, all the spikes, all the loose tiles, all the loose rubble, you land firm-footedly on the roof, on the dilapidated roof of the building opposite.
I'm putting those 4 dice into the bag of you're obviously tired now. Because that's it. I have burned all their good rolls for the day.
Your adversary, yeah, basically gets to the edge of the roof and just hovers there, and you see its eyes glowing brighter. It is burnt. It's like, you are not going to be forgetting the sight of this creature for a very long time.
No, going to be seeing that one in my dreams.
It is not pursuing you.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's tied to the church.
Let me just have a check on
But I know nothing about sorcery.
Michelangelo. Your action. You have 2. You have the creature on the roof above you, and you have 2 of the rival gang.
So the first thing,
but you can hear more shouts. You can hear more.
Point to the thing on the roof. Say, "I've got a sniper on the roof. Back up! Run away now!" And while they're looking at that, hopefully, I'm going to go down the nearest alley, and we're going to start a chase sequence where I'm going to use the other entrance to the Undercity to what Carolina used.
Okay, can you give me a distract someone roll?
Can you use influence in order to get assistance from Raphael, Donatello, and Leonardo?
The hero's on a half gondola.
Yeah. You have just named a gondola crew, of course. Yes.
Did you? So, what did you say? Lie to someone?
No. Can you give me a distract someone? You don't have that.
I don't have that, so that's going to be anything else.
Yeah. Actually, you can do it as light. You can do it as light to someone.
That's okay. I'll take the anything else. I rolled a 5.
Okay. It does have 2 talent dice as well, though.
They're the D10s, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
2-2.
2-2. Okay, cool.
Sure. What is distracted someone? He's wearing a tutu.
They do
like across the street.
They do manage to. They do look up at your thing and look briefly confused as you zip away. So, can I have a sneak around roll? You said you're setting up a chase sequence, basically. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, did you spend the influence to start the fight or start the rumble? Yep. Okay. Can you give me a sneak around roll with 2 challenged? 2 from everything being wary, and 2 because you are trying to basically give them lead them a merry dance. So it's a 4 challenge dice.
Let me just make sure I've got enough D10s out.
He hits, and I'm going to need more dice.
But it is a sneak around roll you are using.
Right. Do I get any advantage dice because I set it up to be?
Yeah, actually, take 1. Because you did set it up to try and do this.
Come on, dice. Okay, so this pushing your luck thing.
Yeah.
No, I haven't spent any luck yet. So
you can't actually push your luck here.
Why not?
No, you can't push your luck back in combat.
Already on the pool.
Oh god, yes. Oh shit.
You cannot add more challenge dice to this pool, which means that you cannot push your luck.
Folks, I'm in trouble.
Sorry.
I set this up to do exactly this, kind of hoisted by my own petard here.
Okay, so you are, yeah,
Screwed, I think, is the term.
you are very quickly cornered in an alley. You took a slightly wrong turn and ended up. Were any of those challenge dice drawbacks?
I didn't even look at those. Hang on a sec. 1166.
Okay, so 2 drawbacks.
Could be worse, but not.
It could, yeah, it could have
Yeah,
been
it could be
worse.
2 worse, precisely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's they find you.
And as it is, the D8 was no use anyway.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
even if I could have used an advantage die, it wouldn't have helped me on this occasion. I was
Right,
destined
okay.
to be buggered.
So you take a wrong turning. You end up down an alleyway that you're not that you didn't expect to, because you got a little bit turned around and were looking a little bit hasty. You have been cornered in this alleyway. It's not inescapable, despite the now 4 figures that you see approaching the end. It's effectively a high wall behind you. So that's one drawback. It is an obstacle that can be overcome with a skill roll, which would be a climb, jump, or tumble, basically. But you do have 4 people with bows trained on you, and the stress of this is also going to impose a 10 luck 10 luck stress penalty.
So I'm rolling at -10.
No, that's just you take 10 off your luck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 10 luck damage.
Right.
Oh my god.
Okay, so basically I'm looking at a climb, jump, or tumble roll to get out of this.
You are, but you will also likely to be suffering attacks while you do so. Basically, each of them have got a crossbow trained on you at this point. If you were, and you won't be able to pay attention to defending yourself and getting out of here. If you want to use the wall, basically, if you can get over the wall, you reckon that you will get another chance to be to disappear into the shadows, because you will be in grey water at that point, and you won't be in Listrick County, so it will only be a 2 challenge dice penalty after that.
As opposed to brown water, which is where you currently.
Yes, we're definitely at alert code brown right now.
Yeah.
It was lovely meeting you fellas, but I got a dash over the wall.
Okay, before you make the roll, then
Yes,
I am going to.
this is going to go so badly.
So you've got 4 attacks on you.
Yes.
Jesus.
See, as I instantly become a porcupine.
So
Fascinated by the phrasing on "this is gonna go so badly." I thought already was going.
okay, so
This dice sounds so heavy.
yeah, I'm using my metal dice. So
Yeah, dice of doom.
these are minions, sir. They are not the best. They are mooks. Effectively, they have a 50% chance of hitting you. My rolls.
2 of them are going to hit, statistically speaking.
My rolls were 57,
Excellent.
94,
Superb.
Okay.
93,
Excellent.
96.
You are joking.
Way to go!
So basically,
rolled-
these guys are stormtroopers.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Excellent. I gift you the dice luck.
They made the mistake of stopping and aiming. If they just fired from the hip, they'd have got you.
Yes.
All 4 of them miss you as their bolts impact on the wall beside you. I can't believe 3 of them were 92.
There's a very nice sort of Michelangelo shape in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Can you give me your climb, jump, or tumble roll now to see if you can get over it? It has 2 challenge dice on it.
29.
And the
And
2
the 2 challenge dice give me a bollocks, 6 and a 3.
6 and a 3. Okay, so Let me see what I can do drawback wise. So that's going to add one of those. Sorry, it's only one. So I'm going to add 2 heat to the pool. There is now 18 heat in the pool. So you jump over. You get over the wall. Can you give me another sneak around roll with 2 challenge dice on it, please?
Sneak around with 2 challenge dice.
Carolina, I'm assuming that you are using the escape route down into the Undercity. Yeah.
Yes, I can. 77.
Oh, and the challenge dice?
The challenge dice are 8 and 1.
8 and 1. You get over the wall, but you are breathing. Your stress on your system. Take another 10 luck damage.
Okay.
On the other hand, you're breathing.
Yes.
And you are able to disappear into the alleyway. So, Carolina, I take it you are taking the spiral staircase down?
Yep.
Right. Can you give me a sneak around roll, please, with 2 challenge dice?
Yes, and I need other dice. Hang on a minute. I really have shifted those 4 off to the side that were being nice to me. That is an 8 and an 8.
Okay. You disappear into the old city, into the underground tunnels, and you abscond with the book.
Cool.
I'm going to draw a line under that scene there. I'm going to take a very quick break before we head over to Will and Frankie. Apologies that scene took a bit longer than I was expecting, but then it's effectively a final scene all of its own.
Yeah, sorry.
So I will just do a quick disappearing act and be back in a few moments once I've refreshed my drink.
I think we need a high five for a very almost not success on that scene. We got the book and we got out.
Oh my god, yes, absolutely.
High five.
Well, apparently some sort of dice luck gods shined upon you both.
On both ways, yes. They both shined on and shat on.
I was concentrating so hard when that attack came off.
Well, the roll...
I'm going to be very annoying to everybody.
And you're going to go to bed.
I am wasted. Yeah, I'm really not up to this. My suggestion is this, since you are the birthday girl and this is your game, that you take over Frankie for this scene.
That would make sense.
What were you...
You know as much of the plan as I do, because there really isn't one.
It's literally...
You've heard everything that there is.
Yeah, you've
Just
literally...
him on the back of the head, shove him, gag him, shove him in a crate and drive him away.
Yeah.
That's as much of a plan as we've got.
Okay, that works. I think between us, me and Light can figure this out.
But yeah, I am just...
I think it's actually...
If you'd rather Knight take over Frankie, then I'm
I'm
fine
happy
with
with
that. But my suggestion would be you, since it's your game.
I'm with Fish on that. This is your birthday, Drutt. Enjoy it.
Yeah, no bugger's going to believe the die rolls.
And
no bugger believes my die rolls anyway.
Oh no, because you're playing my character, you'll get my die rolls.
Oh, good point.
Where it'll work. I think my bad luck trumps your good one.
I think hanging on until Chrono gets back, so you don't.
Obviously I'm going to hang on till Chrono gets back. Yeah. I'm an arsehole, not a complete arsehole.
I should have.
Well, you're not an asshole for taking care of yourself, Fish. So
exactly.
Well, how dare you? It's how dare you run away from the game? It's obviously that you're evil.
Yep, I am evil.
It's almost midnight here, so I don't know what's too.
While the planning scene was happening, I was exporting last week's
session. It's not massively late. I've just had a bad few days.
No, I know it's been
Well, yeah, I noticed that you mentioned it quite a few times recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, just take your time. That's all I can say.
Stress, depression, and exhaustion.
Right.
Yeah, I can understand how those feel, all of them. So yeah.
Hello.
We're dealing with an understudy here. I'm absolutely shattered. So the part of Frankie the Fox for this scene will be played by Drutt.
Okay.
And I will bid you all a good night. and apologise to you guys and also to everybody in chat for.
He's losing the ability to speak English, basically.
Okay, fair enough. Well, take care, Fishy. I hope this ends up the way that Frankie would have wanted.
Yeah, it's going to be a moonlight flit, isn't it? Where are you taking him, by the way? Because that was your safe house, if I recall correctly.
Sorry?
We're taking him to your safe house, if I recall correctly, aren't we?
Oh yeah, that was the other thing we hadn't done. Right, so basically, hang on. Yeah, so I'm going to be spending 2 influence at the start of this. One is to obtain 10 low-ranking members of the family for this scene.
Sure.
Of which 9 will be used for distraction purposes and 1 to drive the cart.
Yep.
Frankie does not drive carts.
Frankie is driven.
Yeah, nor does he look like someone who drives carts.
Yeah.
And the other one is gain access to family-controlled assets and secret warehouses connected to the city's canals for the duration of the job. I'm thinking in terms of assets rather than the warehouses here to get although a warehouse would do, just for somewhere to keep him.
Okay, right.
Okay.
That would be 1 crew influence and Frankie's own influence.
Yeah, that works.
Right, gain access to
hello. We've lost.
Yeah, he's got a phone call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, while I do that, gain access to a family-controlled place.
I mean, a warehouse probably is absolutely
Yeah.
fine. It's a warehouse that's already, because it's family-controlled, has arrangements to make sure that the wrong people don't investigate it too closely. Then
Sure.
it's to hide a kidnap victim.
Sorry, I wasn't actually paying all
It
that
also
much
makes
attention.
sense for a wagon to drive into a warehouse.
It does.
So to
That
get him in the
is,
wagon and take him to a warehouse, then that works.
Okay, I believe Alex is asking to rejoin.
Right, yes, you need to get Alex back into the
I
call.
am. Hang on.
Okay, so take care, Fishy. Sorry that you won't see this out, but
I will watch the VOD, assuming Twitch doesn't kill it.
Well, the other one has now been exported. Hang on.
For anybody watching who may be wondering, that was a reference to the fact that apparently the last episode of Swords of Slaughterdeep has been killed by Twitch and no longer exists anywhere. So we're going to need to make sure we have a good previously on at the beginning of the next one.
especially since we will be effectively in media res.
Yeah.
Starting it not just mid-fight, we're starting it midway through a round of combat.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
I'm just waiting for Alex to pick up.
Yeah.
And there we go.
All right. Excuse. Apparent tech issues.
And I shall now drop out. So
All right. Take care, Fishy.
Enjoy
Press
the
that
night
fish.
game.
Right. Oh, Goldie's gone huge. Hang on. Okay, you need to be that size.
Okay, question for Chrono. Before we start the scene.
Sure.
Do you think that we will be actually able to finish tonight?
I believe so. Depending on how.
So too, but like seeing how long the scene before with Knight and Drutt took, I wanted to ask because I have to go in an hour. My father is coming back home and he needs my help.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
If we are not able to do it in an hour, then I would.
I will definitely see. We will definitely be done in an hour, one way or another.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
That is not a problem. To be honest, depending on what you do here, you're effectively on just the secondary part of the thing. You have the book, which was the primary objective.
Yeah.
Whether or not you can retain it, we will see.
Yeah, thanks for that.
But
That's the thing. Like you said that after this, there's like at least one more
there is,
cycle,
but we will see.
day-night cycle.
I will see. I will see how this goes. Well, there is one more segment after this.
Okay.
But we will see. So
this smash and grab should be fairly simple, to be honest.
So, what is it that you are doing in this scene for the purposes of telling the audience? What are you looking to get out of this scene?
I think we're looking to get a kidnapped librarian out of this scene, squirreled away in a crate, and driven at speed to a secret warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah, and attracting as little attention as possible while we do it.
Sure. Okay.
Except for the shocking great distraction.
Let me just check. Wardens of the Night, you are not conspicuous during night scenes. Family, I will just check. You are not conspicuous here. Okay, so no heat goes in for being conspicuous. That is fine.
Okay.
So
before we begin,
yeah,
I realized a funny thing right as you said in which scene I am involved, that I used one of my legwork scenes for nothing because I'm not gonna even be around the area I was to get my men in.
There is that.
I just realized it and I was like,
well,
gosh,
to be fair, if things hadn't gone that way and you ended up needing, because you would have needed them in next scene effectively if you were going to carry through with the impersonate and steal.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now that you say it, you make sense. I totally forgot about the side plan that we were having.
Yeah. Did you want to spend influence on anything before we start this scene?
Well, I, for one, don't think I have anything to, but
okay.
I don't know if Frankie would use any of his influence.
That's fine. Frankie has used his influence in order to get his things into place.
But if, like, for example, if a character is out of personal influence points, he can use the influence pool.
He used his personal influence. Frankie used one personal influence and one from the pool. Yeah. So technically, there is one still left in the communal pool, and I believe Alex is the only person left. I think you're the only person left who has personal.
Yeah, because I didn't have any chance to use my influence yet. Yeah,
that's fine. Okay, so how are you approaching this? How are you getting there?
Well, as I am thinking about it, I would rather have Frankie approach our target.
Well, before even that, how are you approaching the district?
Which are we in?
It's a merchant district where the coaches come in, and where the obliging noble and a bunch of other inns are. This is circle controlled territory technically. And yeah, so how are you approaching the district in the first place?
Well, from where I see it, as Will being a bit more of a person that comes from the slums and is more comfortable in the slums, I would rather have Frankie go ahead and show himself more out, even if it's night. Like, I would rather be in the shadows more than being out up front. So
that's fine. So Frankie, Drutt, I am going to refer to you as Frankie from here on out. Frankie, you have the folks and the wagon and such. Are you on the wagon? Are you in the wagon?
Yeah, I'll be on the wagon next to the driver.
Okay. Will, did you want to be inside the wagon, for example? Or did you want to be making your way separately on foot?
Well, seeing that I have to get kind of near to the librarian, I would rather be on foot, approaching the building where he's located, or his location
Sure.
on foot, rather than being in the cart.
Okay, that is fine. So, at this point, how are we going to do this? Yeah. So, you're both making your way into the district under using the evening night to kind of like blend in with the crowds that are both leaving and heading around, merchants heading towards towards their places of business or to their hostels and hotels, and their inns for rest. Day's business done. Carts heading off in various directions, goods coming in, and the city gates. The city basically the district settling down for the evening. But both of you are accosted on your way into the district. Frankie,
Hello.
As you basically cross over from the neighbouring district with your cart, two city watcher basically step out in front of the cart and basically just flag you down. And one comes up beside you, and with a kind of like a supercilious sneer that you have come to be familiar with from Crown 8 members of the City Watch and Crown Guards, says, "So, what's all this then?" And he like gestures with his spear at the cart and such.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We're carrying an empty crate designed for a librarian and a crate full of fireworks.
You are. Plus two other miscellaneous goods. I will point out at this point, I am spending 12 heat to introduce a major complication.
Okay.
So.
Oh, not fireworks. I'm being corrected, okay.
Okay. Oh, the fireworks are not here, are they?
Okay.
Okay.
So just miscellaneous. Okay,
miscellaneous. Right, okay.
Goods.
And he basically starts tapping at the side of the cart with his spear in that kind of like knowing way. You've run into this guy before. He's not a job's worth, but you know, he's one of those people who likes throwing his weight around. You know that he is not exactly on the level, but he could make your life very difficult.
I'm going to be obsequious. I'm going to make it very clear he's got all the power. And I'm going to try and gauge what kind of bribe he needs.
Okay. Let me get Frankie's sheet up. Okay.
I wish I could do a Spanish accent. I cannot do a Spanish accent.
That is perfectly fine. So.
Let's take a run up at
it. You reckon that you haven't got really a case. You haven't really got a skill to do this. So just give me an anything else roll then.
Okay, 50%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there is a challenge die on this.
Oh, of course there is. Okay, so that is a 42.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge die is an 8.
Okay. As he's tapping around, you reckon that this is a guy who could probably be paid off with some kind of contraband. He's not just going to settle. It's not as simple as a case of paying him off with gold or anything like that. You're going to need to give him something a little bit more thing to avoid him basically poking around in your business and examining the cart. You know, he could effectively he could confiscate the cart from you. You know,
that would be a pain in the ass. Right. I take it none of the miscellaneous sorted goods that we're loaded with are, say, alcohol?
No. It was just bits and bobs to look like, general trade.
Okay. In that case, I am going to suggest to him that it's a cold and unpleasant shift he's on, and that perhaps he'd like to warm up somewhere. And I believe the family do control certain houses of entertainment.
They do?
Effectively talking him a VIP ticket on a name drop.
Okay. Can you give me a convince someone roll with 1 challenge dice and 1 advantage dice?
Okay. Let's use that one and that one. Okay, so a convince. I don't know what Frankie's convince someone is, but
it is 80.
Oh, okay, that kicks ass then. 35. So, that was a 4 on the challenge die and a 7 on the advantage die.
So you get a boon and but no drawback.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. I am. Okay, so I'm going to say that your boon is not going to affect you directly, but your boon is going to help Will.
Works for me.
Okay. You managed to convince him sufficiently to avoid poking around in your business. He looks very pleased by what you are giving him. And he says, "All right then, be on your way."
Mental note: contact Letitia.
While this is happening, or a little bit afterwards, Will, you are making your way through the alleys and such towards the thing. When out of the shadows steps a figure of a city watcher man, and he leans against the wall, but his spear is very much kind of like pointed in your direction. Says, "Will Striker, what brings you here on an evening like this?"
Nothing that is your business, my friend.
He looks down at his badge and his armor, and just gives it a bit of a polish with the back of his glove.
Catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Stands up a little bit straighter. None of my business, you say? I think anything that is passing down this alley, is passing down this street, is my business. And he makes a very pointed, like, pushing out his chest to show, "Wouldn't you agree, Will?"
What do you want? What do you actually want?
What does any member of the city watch want? I want to keep the streets safe. I want to keep the streets clear of scum. I want to keep the good citizens of New Dunhaven peacefully resting in their beds. Now,
Well, if you want to keep the streets free of scum, get the fuck out of my way. There's only one scum here, and that definitely ain't me.
Oh no.
he levels his spear at you. Now, is that the kind of tone you really want to be taking?
As I'm gonna ask again, and for the last time, what do you actually want from me? I know you all too well. You're not about this. So what is going on actually? What do you want?
I want trash like you off the streets, but I'm sure if you can convince me that you have a legitimate business being here, then we can go about our duties with, minimal fuss.
Would okay. What would tickle your fancy tonight? Money, ladies, whatever you want, just ask for it, and it should be provided one way or another.
He kind of like, are you like? So how are you looking at this point? Like, are you armed? Are you are you visibly armed? Are you?
No, not visibly armed, but
Yep.
having some armament on my body.
Mhm.
Not too much, but not being disarmed as well. So just the type of weaponry that doesn't really pop out
Sure.
that much.
Okay. Can you give me a size someone up roll, please? So that's 80% for you.
Okay.
Um,
Any
you've got
advantage or drawbacks?
you've got a challenge dice on this, sir.
Which is the D10. Okay. Just a second. Okay. So I got a 47 on the D100 and a 5 on the D10.
Okay. So, oh well, this is going to cost you. If you really want to convince me that you have a perfectly ordinary business here, if he sizes you up, sorry, this was for you to, this was for you to size him up. You reckon that he is, it's going to take probably like 100 or so gold pieces, or a couple of gems to get rid of him. Your drawback is I'm going to add 2 to the heat pool, so the heat is now at 8.
Okay. So you say that a few hundred gold pieces or gems would tickle your fancy tonight.
Yeah, let's say you make it worth my while, and I can quite happily wander off down the street and, not blow my whistle, or, get my friends to pay a little bit closer attention to your whereabouts.
All right, that I can certainly do. but I need confirmation that my money will be well spent.
Just make him go away.
Um,
Argue with him.
So that means that if I pay you the gold, which I will, you just leave me alone for the night, and I won't see your face tonight at least.
Sure. Can you give me a distract someone roll with an advantage dice then, please? And this is a boon that you get from Frankie. So that's a
Okay.
that's a 65% roll with an advantage dice, which is a D8.
Okay.
The extra level of smarm somehow psychically
So-
transmitted.
I got a 45 on the distract roll and
Sure.
a 5 on the advantage.
Okay, so that gives you an extra boon. And I am going to use that boon to actually take 2 out of the heat pool, dropping it back down to 6.
6. Okay.
You manage to basically convince him that you are good for it. You make your transaction, and he wanders off whistling. So, you effectively rendezvous in the square outside there's basically a square with a bunch of inns around it. Frankie, you kind of like see the folks, the low ranking members of the family that you have hired for the evening. They're kind of like pretending to be like workers, or just people coming in for a drink or something like that. They're standing around outside a tavern. Oh no, Alex, that was great. That was really good. And
Yeah, I was just apologizing to Drutt, who seemed like she was about to just push her hand through her skull out of desperation at my roleplay.
That's not you roleplay, it's the character.
Yeah.
You were playing it
Yeah.
fine. It's the character who I'm just thinking is going to die.
You
He's going
see-
to get himself killed.
you basically see Will appear like at the corner of the inn, like down just outside of one alley, and he catches your eye. So how are you setting this up?
Right. We're basically going to have to. I'm going to have to set. What 9 guys? I'm thinking Will is probably the least conspicuous person, so he can keep an eye on the entrance, or basically on the approach.
Actually, at this point, can both of you give me a case? Actually, does Frankie have case of joint?
I don't know.
Let me have a look. Yes, you do. So, Frankie, can you give me a case of joint roll at 65?
Okay.
And Will, can you give me a case of joint at 80? Please.
I rolled a 17.
Any other?
No, it's
Or
just
a regular roll.
just a regular roll.
What was the proficiency on that?
Case of joint, it's 80%.
Okay, it's a fail then by 1 point.
So you can push your luck if you want. You can make that a success, but you would take a challenge die as well. Or you can opt to leave it a failure.
What amount of luck am I?
10. It would be. You'd have to
No,
spend 10.
what's my total now?
You have 70. You have 70 at the moment, if I remember correctly. I will actually make a note of that.
Okay, so considering that I have 70 luck, I would push my luck.
Okay, so you drop down to 60. Can you roll me a challenge dice, please?
A D10, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. 1 second.
And Frankie, what did you get?
I got 17.
So
Okay.
I got a 4 on the
challenge. Okay,
on the
that's fine.
D10. Yeah.
Okay, so what you both see is that there are various people milling around. This is still relatively busy. Like it's not, folks haven't really gone to bed just yet. So there are still, the odd guardsman wandering around the square. This is a transport hub. So they do tend to keep an eye on things, and the merchants will also probably have private security. You also, as you're casting your eye around, and this is from Frankie, you notice that there are some people outside the obliging noble who don't look quite like your average folks just off work having a drink. You reckon that there's about 5 or 6 people here who, unless you're very much mistaken, are also the right kind of people. They are probably circle henchmen now.
Oh, fantastic.
And you would probably reckon that they are in Vladimir's employ.
Righto.
Will, you obviously get you obviously see much the same thing, but you don't recognize the circle vote. But what you do notice is that you're kind of paying more attention to the obliging noble in itself, and you notice that this is a 3-story building, and there is a set of there is a staircase that goes up to to effectively a balcony around the top floor of the building, and it looks like that's where, and it's not sectioned off or anything like that, but there are doors from the top story that lead onto the balcony, but there is also a staircase up from the side of the building that you are on.
Okay.
That gets up there. There is there does look to be one. From your position, you can see one. You're thinking probably private security. Probably someone hired by the inn to keep an eye on things up there. And he is standing at the top where the stair meets the balcony. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the situation as is.
Okay.
That's
So you're going to do?
right.
I'm going to drift over to the guys I have hired for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And as I sort of pass among them, I'm going to point out covertly the guys from the circle.
Yeah.
When you kick off, that can make it look really convincing. And suggest that it's not just they start a fight with each other, they can start a brawl with the circle henchmen. And that'll just add to the confusion, and we can use that as the cover we want.
Right, you are, Frankie. And you get a nod.
Yeah. Don't get yourselves killed.
Yep.
Cost too much.
That would be nice.
One tips his cap, yeah.
Yeah, basically I'll wander through casually, having that conversation, just so they know what's going on.
Sure.
Otherwise, yeah, we're waiting for the librarian to come interview.
Well, I mean, the information that Will had, because at this point you will have shared at least that info, is that he was at the inn, that he had,
right? So
he had checked in, basically. Yeah.
I was thinking about it because I had that information for a while now, but we didn't have
This is effectively the first time, on your way there, that you have to share that information.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
But at least you both know what he looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I'd hoped to get him on the open street, but never mind.
Okay, just one question, as I know this might be a bit meta, but can I post the description in either Discord or chat so that
Yeah, bung it in chat.
the other player gets access to it?
Yeah, that's fine. You can put it in chat. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Um,
Because like I am physically the only one who has that information, so it would be nice to share it
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Please
my
share.
partner.
yes. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's
I'm
fine.
gonna do that.
I'll go through it like I'll go through it vocally as well. So to repeat
Yes,
the
but
information-
I just thought that you said that we are not really allowed to do it by the rules. So I would rather I wanted to check.
that's not a problem. So yeah, that's the information that you effectively like push between yourselves while you're on the way.
Okay. Right. Right. This is this an area Will knows? Or is this an area Frankie knows?
Frankie
More or less.
Frankie
More or less.
a bit better, but like this is a merchant's district in
Yeah.
an area of the city that you're not, both of you are not super familiar with.
Okay.
As I mentioned it across during actually today, Will is more familiar in the slums, so this district is kind of out of his reach.
Okay.
Except a few parts, little parts of it.
Do we know which room the guy's in?
No.
No, you don't.
Right. Do we have? Is this? Would it probably have a ledger? Your standard.
Frankie, I mean, you know the place. Like you saw that there was a ledger when you were talking when you talked to the receptionist previously. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go over and have a meaningless conversation with the receptionist.
Okay.
About,
you're heading into the
possibly,
building.
possibly like a bulk booking or something in the future. And I'm going to endeavour to read the ledger.
Okay. While Frankie goes into the inn, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm gonna try to access the building from the staircase outside.
Okay.
And try to see whether or not I can get the guards to leave or make them leave myself.
Okay, so I will deal with that first. So you start walking up. The staircase, sir. At which point the guard takes an interest and stands up. But it's not until that you get within. Until you get within a few feet of him that he holds up his hands and says, "Sir, please, are you a resident of this establishment?"
Well, no, not a resident, but wanting to visit someone in this establishment.
Who are you visiting, sir?
Well, it's a private matter that I would rather not conceal, if possible.
Then sir should probably go down to the reception and speak to the receptionist. This is reserved for residents of the inn alone.
Will leaves the stairs for now and returns a bit later, fashionably wearing some less outstanding clothes than he wore before.
You don't have time to disguise yourself in that fashion.
No, it's just throwing the hood away that is looking really sketchy. So it's nothing. It's not.
Okay, just as simple as that. Okay.
It's not a disguise per se, but it's like trying to blend in more with the.
You know that you wouldn't. You basically don't have enough time to change your look or appearance in such a way that it would you reckon.
Okay, and I cannot use influence right now.
Depends on what you want to do with it. So in terms of what your cartel can do, so your influence spend is gain access for you to or your crew to one of the reserves, which I don't think applies here.
No.
Reach out to your cartel's contacts outside the city for information. I can't see that apply.
Yeah.
Obtain goods or wealth stolen from traders coming in. That's a setup thing. Have members of your cartel strategically place supplies.
Oh well. So no.
No, or have someone smuggled out, or have
So nothing that could help me in
not
that.
really. Nothing that doesn't require some kind of setup, I'm afraid.
But is there only one guard, or is there only one guard that I can see?
From your
At that
position,
point.
there is only one guard that you can see. Yeah.
Okay.
You would need to make a circuit of the building in order to see if there are other guards.
Okay, but for now, I'm gonna try a sneak attack on the guard, which is like the last ditch effort thing I can do.
Okay, brief timeout. Brief common sense check. We've got. I mean, yeah, we're not doing it on the street as we had hoped. We have the makings of a really good distraction downstairs to attract the attention of the guards. There is no need to go Rambo and murder people, which is only going to cause anybody in the room to just lock the door.
I mean, it would be a distraction.
It would be a distraction, but who would it be distracting?
However, I'm going to leave Will there for the moment, and we go inside.
Okay.
And we head to Frankie. So you're attempting to engage the receptionist in conversation.
Yeah.
And try and gain access to the ledger. Can you give me a distract someone roll then, please, which is a 65%?
Ooh, 62.
Okay. So yeah, you engage the receptionist in some like minor chit chat and such. It's not very busy. You reckon that this place actually caters for the more well-to-do kind of clientele, which makes it a little bit strange that an academic is staying here. But what is it that you are trying to find out from the ledger?
I'm trying to find out where the academic is.
Sure.
Staying. Which room he's in. So we don't know the guy's name, but we do know when he booked in.
Yes, you do. Yes, you don't know his name, but you do know when he booked in. So, the only person, like a quick scan shows that there is only one person who has booked in today. And that name is Sanoj Thamnes.
Okay.
And he is in a room on the second floor, because three-story building. So, ground floor, first floor, second floor.
Okay.
And the rooms are first and second floor. That you know, second floor is reserved for basically the elite guests,
right.
the VIPs, nobles, that kind of thing.
Okay. Can I?
And he has a room number there.
Right. Okay. Can I match in my head basically how many rooms along in whichever direction the room would be?
Give me a case of joint roll, please.
57.
Okay. Yeah, you are fine there. You reckon that you can work out where in the building the room is?
Okay. Right. In that case, we can make this plan work, and we don't have to go up the stairs. So Will's outside, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no point going for a suicide mission. You don't get paid if you do a suicide mission. So, I'm going to go around to Will.
Yeah.
And the cart's still outside, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Are
you've-
all my
you've-
men outside, or are they in the building?
They're still outside. You haven't told them to go in
Okay, no,
or
that's
anything
fine.
like that.
That's fine. Right, I'm going to direct the cart around to the back of the inn.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Will, our man's on the second floor.
Okay.
And take a stroll. So I'm going to lead him round to the rear of the inn as casually as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to indicate which window he's looking at.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to kick off something down here. When you hear noise and shouting, can you climb up there and get our man?
Yes, I think I can.
Bash him over the head. We've got blackjacks. And bring him down, dump him in the cart, and we go.
Well, that's fine. That can do.
Okay. I will set off the distraction inside then. That will hopefully distract the guards from upstairs as well, because they'll be interested in not letting any violent types up the stairs. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is more your Batman motif. You can shin up the wall through the window and just knock him out, bring him down.
Okay.
You park under there. Hoping that some of the random goods are soft-ish, just in case.
I mean, it's a covered wagon. So
it's a covered wagon, yeah.
if
worst
you're
case.
throwing someone out of the window, it
Yeah.
could bounce on the.
I was thinking hold them and
Yeah.
drop, reduce the fall by the length of 2 arms,
That's fair, yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm going to head back round and indicate I would like quite a loud and noisy fight, please.
Okay.
Inside the building. And send them in.
Right. So, how are we going to play this? Okay.
I'm essentially asking for a bar brawl.
Yeah, you are, aren't you? Okay, so fix it. Yeah, this is basically a distract someone. Right.
Yeah.
Can Frankie, can you give me a distract someone roll with 2 advantage dice?
Okay.
No?
Oh, that
no,
is a
it's not
38.
Oh no! Oh, I thought we had a little bit longer.
Oh no!
Okay. Oh wow! And that has shifted the.
Let's just turn off that window, shall we? Okay, so that's a 38 with both advantage dice coming up, 7 and 5.
Oh wow! Okay, right. Okay. I'm going to give you make you roll for Alex as well, because effectively we're going to shortcut this a little bit.
Knight, are you okay to roll for Alex?
I can roll for Alex.
Cool.
Cheers, my dears.
Can you give me a let me see. Can you give me a case of joint roll at 80%, please, with 2 advantage dice, sir?
2 advantage. Oh shoot! Has he got any luck to push? 81.
He has. He currently is on 60 luck.
Advantage dice were 4 and 7.
Okay. So if you want to push your luck, that would add 1 challenge dice.
I'll push the luck, please.
Okay.
Please, Bob.
And can you roll a challenge die as well, please?
And see challenge die gives me a 5.
Okay, so that cancels out the advantage. Sorry, that cancels out the boon. So it's just a straight success. So as you hear a distraction kicking off around the front of the building, Will sizes up the thing, and you hear the pounding of footsteps as the guard, which was stationed on the balcony, basically comes tearing down the stairs, and you can hear him heading off. You reckon that you can either dash up the stairs yourself and make your way onto the back balcony, or grapple your way up. That's not going to be a problem. Frankie, you send your men in, and as this group of folks head into the inn,
It's okay, you can call them goons.
the other ones that you've pegged as circle henchfolk head inside as well. What were your advantage dice on that?
My advantage dice were 7 and 5.
Yeah, so you get double advantage. Cool. You see that basically a brawl is starting in the lobby of the hotel, of the inn, that's going better than you could have expected. There's a whole bunch of like doors slamming, and people are like coming out to see what's going on. Will, I'm going to refer to you now as Will.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. And you make your way up onto the back balcony without incident. Count your way around.
That's the back balcony then, just for a sec.
Count your way round to the room that you were pointed out. Inside, there's basically a window that is unshuttered, but it is glass. So glass and wooden shutters, and a door that leads from the balcony into the room. The door is actually slightly ajar.
Even better.
But like doing a quick peer in through the window, you see there is a young man matching the description that you were told. Sitting at a desk, and he seems to be perusing a letter. His leather backpack is on the bed, and that is it.
Okie doke. And I've got a blackjack to subdue with, don't I? From the doorway, if I edge it open slightly, have I got a good line of sight to him?
You do.
Excellent. Why let him know I'm coming when I can just throw the thing at him?
Sure. Right. Can you give me a throw something roll with 2 advantage dice then?
Absolutely, I can. I'm good at throw something.
Yeah.
With 2 advantage dice as well. Bloody hell.
You've basically got a massive distraction going on downstairs.
Jesus whipped.
He's not paying attention to the doorway.
71 on the throw something.
Yeah.
With a 7 and a 1 for my advantage dice.
Okay, cool. That pretty much, it whacks him on the back of the head. He goes down, smacks his head on the desk, and collapses off the chair. You have one incapacitated librarian.
Wander in, pick up the blackjack, put it back in whatever I was holding in,
Mm-hmm.
pick him up, farm and carry, head on out the way I came in.
Cool. Are you doing anything else while you are in his room?
He was the only target. The other 2 supposedly should be getting the book. We don't know how they're doing, but they probably got the book. He was perusing a letter.
Yes.
We'll take that as well.
Sure.
Quick. I don't want to wait too long. Quick scan around. Does anything grab my attention?
The only other thing of note in the room is his backpack that is sitting on the bed.
Is it a big, bulky backpack, or is it fairly
No,
lightweight?
it's pretty small. Like, this is not... Like, it doesn't even look like there's much more than maybe a change of clothes and a book or 2. This is not... This is not like somebody who is planning to stay here more than a day or so.
We'll grab that as well.
Sure. You grab that. The kerfuffle is still proceeding. You can hear whistles. You can hear. It looks like the city guard are on their way. But none of this is really bothering you as you manage to get him down unnoticed into the cart.
Yep.
and away you go.
Yes, I shall wander past the front, catch the eye of one of my goons, and do a disengage and leave.
And you basically head your way around to the cart, hop up onto the driver's board, and your getaway driver heads off to a secure location.
Okay,
So
done.
you have secured the book. You have secured the specialist with a theme with a time segment to go.
Cool.
I am going to draw the game to a close there and say that you are able to rendezvous with each other and deliver your cargo to the funeral parlor in the Gravediggers district that you were instructed to. Presumably you're going to do that tonight now.
We may as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have
might
done
get a
this.
bonus for a fast job.
You have done this ahead of schedule.
I also don't want to be holding on to this for longer than necessary.
We don't tell them that bit, though.
Well, no, obviously not. Here's your haunted book. Have fun.
Olivia Gravine is waiting for you at the parlor as you arrive, and she looks surprised. This is the first time you have managed to actually discombobulate her in any way, shape, or form in your years of having worked with her. That was fast. I was not expecting you here until tomorrow. I wouldn't have been here myself had I not chosen to. Oh wow! To pay a visit, but.
Well, if you don't want him, we can.
Oh no! This is. She takes a look at the back of the cart. Well, since he and I presume the book, and she looks at you, and holds out her hand.
Yeah, I'm holding it between two fingers.
As little contact as possible.
She takes it gingerly as well.
Oh, good.
Looks at it, and then slips it into a small satchel. Well, now this does save us an awful lot of bother.
Glad to hear.
I will see that you. Unfortunately, I had not arranged for your payment to be here. But I shall arrange for it to get to you via the usual sources. All four of you have done a remarkable job. The Gravediggers are very grateful for your services.
Remember this.
I trust there was little hassle, little noise.
A little noise, but nothing unexpected.
Okay. Well.
It was reasonably quiet.
Well now. Master Falcone, if I might trouble you, she looks over. I'm guessing that this wagon is your work. If I might trouble you for the use of it for another hour or two further, I will see that it is returned to you with all due haste.
Okay. I'm just bringing Alex back in for the tail end.
Okay.
Get everyone in for the finale.
Okay.
Okay's on no cam anyway there, so
sure.
That's fine.
That's fair. So I'll just wait for Alex to come back in before we do wrap up. So you all count yourselves lucky with a good night's work, and you see the cart rumble off with the unconscious librarian in the back and Olivia holding the book that you recovered.
Okay.
And you all head your separate ways back to your lodgings with a sigh of relief across most of your breathing a collective sigh of relief as you watch your targets head out.
Right.
Too bad.
Thank
So
you.
sad. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, my players,
Thank you. That was cool.
for the right job. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you watching enjoyed that. So,
Yeah.
a quick little rundown there, if you'll indulge me.
Okay.
That was a very interesting way of approaching the scenario. I have to say, I was not expecting you to split the job in that fashion, but it was really, really interesting to see. I hope the folks watching between this episode and the first one have a better understanding of how Dust City Outlaw runs, of what the setting is like, of the sorts of things that this system can do. I really like this from a heist perspective. I think this is a very interesting system to run a game like this in. And I think it does heist mechanics better than a lot of systems than I have seen, particularly with the way that characters are set up and such.
I think we did it very, very narratively. I think for future reference, probably slightly less narratively and slightly more system would probably work better for us, because this did mean that if not everyone was involved in a scene, obviously.
Yes, there is that. I will say that yes, I am not running the. Yeah, I end up not running this quite rules as written. And in theory, we were also a little bit limited by time because of the narrative nature I took. So, for folks who are watching, yes, if you were playing this of an evening, these games are designed to effectively run in a 3 to 4 hour session because you are not supposed to go quite so narratively. But I do like it because it does help flesh out the actual roleplay and such.
Just out of curiosity, what were you expecting us to do?
I think it's difficult to say because heist adventures can go in so many different directions. But I was expecting it to be you come down on the final day, the morning or like the final day, and enact it at the Silver Hand and basically do both parts.
Gotcha.
Both parts together. But you did manage to the way you did it actually did manage to circumvent a number of the hazards and such that theory. Plus your good rolls, because that's the thing, because you hadn't quite and I'm going to go into a little bit of like what the scenario is here. Because you didn't figure out what the creature that was defending the House of the Silver Hand was, or had no information about it. In theory, that should have killed one of you.
That could well have killed me.
Yes.
To be fair, I was seriously wondering if I was just going to be cheerleading for the rest of the scenario.
Trying to go up against that creature solo is not recommended, especially because it can't be physically harmed.
Yeah. The only thing I could have done is grab the femur and use that basically like a cross for a vampire.
If you had, you would have been able to use it as a club because it can be harmed by enchanted weapons. It is also sensitive to bright light, which is what the thing is. Like, had Michelangelo been there in the building, he would have recognized it as a creature from Vladich myth. Because as a mole, you are fluent in Teonan and Vladich, and that would have included a little bit about the literature. So you would have also had this had you burgled Amaris's office, because Amaris's office had a complete set of plans and itinerary for what was going to go down. Notably, that the librarian only arrives on the day before he is due to complete a job.
Yeah.
He would have only been there for basically the night and the day. Amaris had hired a dredger who is basically a private investigator stroke bodyguard who was going to go and collect him on the morning and bring him to the church.
See, this
So
is it.
you
Once
basically
he was in and organised, we assumed he was going to be too heavily guarded, and we were right.
you were right on that front. So yeah, you avoided a confrontation with two of the four primary villains. Basically, there are four primary antagonists that you had to overcome. So Amaris, the Dredger, the Librarian, and the Thought Eater.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful sounding beastie.
That really makes me feel better.
And you kind of circumvented them in a weird way.
Welcome to Hint.
Yes, that was really interesting. If you do have any other questions, do feel free, about that. Do feel free to ask. That you wanted to know.
To be honest, it made sense to me. To when that thing appeared, it made sense to me just to book it.
Yeah.
No pun intended at all. Because I couldn't see any way I was going to have to. I could deal with that, and
you didn't actually have the info that you needed in order to do so.
I was torn actually between going to the workroom and going to the office first. It was a bit of a toss-up in my head, and I just decided to go with the place with new lock.
Yeah, I mean, had you gone to the office first, you would have found out about the Thought Eater. You would have found out that it was a guardian that was present in the building. And you would have also found out that bright lighted enchanted weapons were the way to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, light, I think I would have assumed anyway.
Yeah.
But, not having much dealings with magic, I just decided to...
Oh, yeah. And it's also so one of the things that it does is that any attempt to interact with it on a non-physical basis automatically incurs 2 challenge dice. Which is why you ended up having 4 in those final jumps off the roof, which you did with astonishing aplomb and no drawbacks.
Basically that was we were tasked to get the book and the guy, and I think that was what we did, though there is obviously more to be discovered.
Yes, you didn't find out everything. You also surprisingly managed to attract you actually gave me very little to work with. The heat pool never got over 20, and you were very circumspect with a number of your actions. And particularly when you took the legwork scene to disguise yourself, you avoided adding heat to the pool because of that. So you did take very calculated actions to avoid giving me chances to introduce unknown complications into the mix.
Shadowrun players, then. I think. I mean, it comes down to.
I think, not to draw too far a veil over this, but because we were shortcutting it a little bit towards the end, I could have added a few more complications like actual fights and things like that. But I think you had a good enough plan that it was okay for me to not add extra complications on that you hadn't think. I mean, as I say, I did introduce a major complication with the guards, with the with the city watch that needed to be bribed to do that, because that basically adds skill checks that you can potentially fail, and the purpose of the skill checks effectively is to try and wear down your luck. Because the more that you have to make, the more potential there is to fail, and the more potential for fail, the more chance that you need to push your luck. And that's when once you start dropping below 50 luck, that's when things start to become a bit hairy. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope, as I say, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you
Yeah.
all enjoyed playing that. I would like to run this again and maybe run it maybe a little bit closer to rules as written. But then I also do like the potential for this to be, something we pick up for a 2 or 3 session thing to do one scenario, and it ends up being a campaign thing.
Yeah, I think tone down our narrative tendencies a bit.
Yeah.
And play it more like the boardless board game. I think it really is at its heart.
Yes, it is.
I think if we can find a balance between that, then yeah, I think I'd be well happy to play that again.
Yeah, I can't. I could have abstracted it a bit more. I will say that is also my tendency to run away with the narrative as well. And I think that is a little bit on us as the kind of players that we are and the kind of games that we do tend to play.
Yeah, I do apologise for taking so much of the evening doing the burglary on my own. But on the other hand, it just made sense in character and with the plan.
Oh yeah.
From what we'd set up to do it that way.
And that's the thing, you didn't really give me many opportunities in order to cause a ruckus, in order to say bring.
Again, you had 3 fairly heavy Shadowrun players in the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yes. So thank you very much, everyone, for being with us for these 2 weeks. Next week, what do we have on Hint Plays?
Next week should be Crimson Skies.
Next week should be Crimson Skies.
So
it'll be 1930s in a very, very fractured America, where Zeppelins fly cargo routes, not trains or trucks, and they're protected by aircraft because they're predated upon by sky pirates.
We're not secret police, that's for
and
certain.
who will be here joining you for that campaign?
So I'll be sat in the GM's chair. We'll have Drutt, Fish, we'll have Robinson, and joining the crew we'll have Jory and Shard Angel.
Yes. I look forward very much to watching that. So thank you.
I have
thank
to
you
spend
again.
Next week. I have to spend next week practicing Russian accent. For terrible Russian accents.
You've only got to practice Russian. I've had to get a book. Actually, I can't find it now. I got a book on accents.
Oh, nice. Cool. So thank you very much for having me along and being able to run this. As I say, I've had a lot of fun. And anybody who is interested in either the game that we have played today, the scenario, or the rule set, or anything like that, do feel free to hit me up on the Hint Plays Discord. You can find me there at Chronomagistrate. I hope we will see you all soon.
Yep.
So
See you around.
take care, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.